Holy cannoli, look at everybody out here tonight. Hi everybody, what's going on? What's up, Logan? Hi, Arcane. Arcane, thank you so much for the 105 stream streak. What's up, Satellite? What's up, Eva Mizroy? Thank you so much for the Miz Raid. Good to see you. Good to see Shadows. Justin Brett. Hi everybody. Happy Saturday. I hope you're doing well. Oh Lord, I'm doing good. Finally. I'm not sick anymore. Work is done for the week. I had some actual time to relax. It's been a rejuvenating day. It has been wonderful. I hope your day has been similarly enriching. You bought Yoshi's Crafted World Day. I love Yoshi's Crafted World. That game is great. It is super good. All right, let me review all of this chattering that I missed. Arcade made a real confusing meal. Sluggy the Unshaven is a great boss name. It really is. Great name for just about anything, really. I'm rather sluggish and unshaven myself today. Never tired of that fried rice meme. Tag which most wanted by the Nintendo feds. Mario enemy you are. I thought Osh moved his camera to the bottom, but it was just Hook Bill. Surprised the day that an airline died with zero notice was a good work. Yeah, okay. Didn't affect the international terminal at all. We were spared any of the chaos from that. So that was nice. I can't imagine how awful things were for everybody over in that terminal. All the poor people that lost their jobs notwithstanding. So. Turns out La Mulana Randomizer is pretty dang easy to set up and get running. Bad news, you really need to set it up so you get the option to save from the start. Oof. Can't be marching milled. I guess I would have to be Sluggy the Unshaven. I don't think there's anyone that really suits me any better than that. Did the employees or anyone at all know it was going to happen? So I don't really know anybody from Spirit Airlines. If you have been following what's been going on with them, I mean, outlook not so good, really. Spirit was already on the ropes for months, if not years. They had been flirting with buyouts and actively seeking a government bailout. It is, in Spirit's own words, it was the soaring oil prices thanks to Trump's idiot war in Iran that did them in. Like, that's straight from the horse's mouth. This stupid fucking pointless war. Trump is what killed Spirit Airlines. They were not doing well. They were trending south, but that was absolutely the bullet in the back of the head for them. We're ferrying Baby Mario for once. They were, yeah. Government bailout was basically their last chance, especially with oil prices the way they were. So I'd find item just save is real rough. It's like having to track down a jump or a wall climb. Yeah. Also, good evening, Deep Thought. It is good to see you tonight. I'm glad you're here. Don't want to bring the mood too far down. Just want to give you a giant reminder that Trump is a huge fuck ass, and the sooner he is no longer with us on this earth, the happier we will all be. Never thought they would outright name Trump as the reason. What do they fucking care? They don't exist anymore. They're gone. Who's he gonna retaliate against? The smoldering wreckage of their corporation? Fuck him. You guys find the best shield in the game early on. One hopes there won't be too many other casualties this whole thing. Well. According to Trump is the great wizard known as Biden. Ah, yes. Great and terrible Biden. Incredible how as ancient and incompetent and ineffective as Biden was, his reach is long. Still has his dirty fingers in affairs even long into Trump's second term, into 2026. Funny how that works, isn't it? Funny how enemies of Republicans are all at once completely weak and ineffectual and also master manipulators and have full control over circumstances. It's almost like cognitive dissonance at work, but surely it can't be that. Doing the execs themselves and need some spirits tonight. Oh, fuck the executives. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they got handsome severance packages and golden parachutes and whatnot. No, it's all the rank and file y'all need to be worried about. Like, don't forget, whatever your feelings about Spirit Airlines and like the airline industry as a whole shitload of people just lost their jobs, and none of them deserve that. So that is the thing that should always remain first and foremost in your mind whenever one of these companies go under. Look, I am as eager as anybody for this AI bubble to burst and all these AI companies to just self-immolate. At the same time, I know it's going to be extremely painful for everybody, and I'm going to feel real bad for the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people who are going to lose their jobs when it does happen. Yep. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. That's it. It didn't have to be complicated. She's saying lost people at the airport today. No, again, international terminal. If you're not familiar with LAX, LAX is a giant horseshoe. I mean, a giant horseshoe. It's the opposite, Eva. I work in international, and Spirit is mainly domestic. I don't even know if Spirit has international flights out of LA. I know we have some discount airlines that operate out of the international terminal, like Zip Air. I know there's at least one Zip Air flight to Tokyo. But yeah, so, okay. LAX is a giant horseshoe. All the domestic terminals are on, like, the legs, the arms, the appendages of the horseshoe. And then international is at the loop at the bottom. People don't come to the international terminal unless they absolutely have to, or they are desperately, unbelievably lost. I believe the Spirit terminal was Terminal 7, Terminal 6, something like that, way out on one of the ends. So no, we didn't get any residual damage from the Spirit fallout at all. Saw an article today basically said AI is not cost effective for like 3/4 the job sector. Well, yeah. It's a giant money pit. It is a giant money pit that idiots just keep shoveling money into in the hopes that they can be slaves to these AI companies. Like, just nobody has thought any of this out. Absolute best case scenario. If AI does everything it promises it's going to do and you fire all of your employees, now you're 100% beholden to a tech company, and they will charge you anything they want as long as you keep suckling at that AI teat. What's up, our Dominic? How you doing tonight? Welcome to the Gloom and Doom show. I didn't mean for it to be like this, but I heard about the whole Spirit Airlines thing today, which is germane to my discussion since I work in an airport. Yeah, no. Exactly, our Dominic. You get it. You understand. Like, what is the end game for AI? Companies fire everybody and run with just a skeleton crew feeding prompts into AI that does all the work. One, you are 100% entirely beholden to AI companies now. They basically unofficially run your company because they can charge you as much as they want for you to simply do business. And two, if nobody can work, nobody has money to buy your bullshit anyway. Like, the end game, the ideal pie in the sky fantasy end game of AI is a non-functional economy. Stop playing Photoshop into the Spirit Halloween. I mean, it's a match made in heaven. Now that Spirit Airlines is gone, let Spirit Halloween move in. Starting to worry about that in Stellaris. The end game is that AI revolts and kills your civilization. We're coming off easily a half century, if not more, of cautionary media about the temptations and excesses of AI. And nobody in control fucking listen. We are literally living through that Torment Nexus meme right now. Like, it's not exaggeration. It's not embellishment. We are literally living through that meme right now. We have been told, we've been telling each other for decades, AI is going to tear our civilization apart. And we are watching, in real time, as AI tears our civilization apart. And like, all the sane people out here are just like, and the tech bros are like, but it'll print money eventually. Every day is another day. I look forward to the Butlerian Jihad. Can't get here soon enough. I have to remind you, I'm not an accelerationist. I take no pleasure in the suffering of anybody, even the people I deeply, deeply despise. I don't want anybody to suffer. I want everybody to get along and be happy, but I see the writing on the wall. I see what is inevitable. AI will collapse. It will take the global economy with it. I just wish it would hurry up and happen. If it has to happen, the sooner it happens, the sooner we can rebuild and heal from the damage and move on with our lives. And the less time we'll have to spend listening to these tech dickheads talk about how wonderful it's going to be when everybody's out of work. IRL instead, the AI is revolting and kills your civilization. Yeah. First thing everyone does is let's hook it up to the internet every time. Inevitably. Inevitably. So Mega Man X, I know I don't get it. I know civilization will not stop creating robots to kill them. Yeah. I mean, once we get all this jury rigged up to robotics, then we're gonna be living through the Mega Man X future. Then we will solidly be in 20XX, and we can have a never-ending revolving door of murder robots to harangue us. At least I'll never hear from my management to use Copilot anymore. Yeah, seriously. I'll get back into something stable like mortgage-backed assets. Yeah. Can we just go back to the traditional ways of crashing the economy? Can't we just replay the greatest hits? I don't have to modify my fucking phones every week to remove the AI button placed specifically where you'd accidentally tap it. I'd die happy. Yeah. I mean, the desperation is palpable. It really is. And I'm seeing more and more news stories and reports and polls that just more and more people hate this shit. Everyone hates AI. Everyone despises it. It is one of the least popular things in the world. And all of these rich knuckle draggers act like it is God's gift to the world, because for them it is. It's like we talked about. It is the perfect tech product. It is the ultimate distillation of what the soulless exploitive tech industry has been moving towards over the past couple of decades. It is a dream everything app that you get people addicted to and you get them to trust with their entire lives, right down to their most basic decision making. And you make it a subscription service. And people basically have to subscribe to you to simply exist. We could try the Icelandic method where we arrest the people responsible for economic crashes. I mean, that would, I mean, my suggestion involves lengths of rope and lampposts. So, I mean, yours sounds a little friendlier than what I had in mind. Doing my financial institutions and markets course when the subprime crisis hit. That was a laugh, I bet. Episode of Psychopaths where they have a couple-minute segment talking about market crash in the distant past is a unique feeling to realize they're talking about the 2008 recession. Even the people in the horrible dystopian future wonder how people could have been that irresponsible, yeah. Settle for arrest, they'd be back. Couldn't keep Sam Altman down. I tempt you with Super Mario Picross to lighten the mood. Do you see it on the screen, friendo? Do I have to remind you? every time we do the power hours how this shit works. There's a game right here. Right here. Right, and here, and here, and here. I see a Mario! Can't fault you for trying, I suppose. At this point, I'm fully convinced we got almost everything that would actually be useful tech-wise circa 2009, so all tech companies can do is pretend smoke is amazing and shitify everything in the name of smoke. It's very interesting working for a tech store right now. It's actually a very deeply interesting time to be working for a tech shop. One that gets a lot of traffic and a lot of attention. Because of its location, and learning about its historical metrics and how things have changed over the years. I might talk more about this in the future, because I'm still very, very much early days. But I've already picked up on some very interesting trends there. I like the ironic solution to behead them with 3D printing guillotine. What's up, Dave? It's good to see you tonight. Good to see you roiling in confusion. I tell you what, let me talk about the schedule, and then we can get to this video game, or the other video game that you know is coming, the cover feature for this one. Or we might just talk more about actual video games instead of the lamentable state of existence, because I did play a bunch of games tonight. I did play a whole bunch of games tonight before the stream, and they were all from yesterday. In fact, let's just talk about that. Let me jackknife the conversation into something more fun, because I had some time today and I wanted to curate some stuff. So I went back and I played 3 of the games that we played last night. I played some more. I played more Gambonanza, and Gambonanza is great. I got really far into that run that I started last night. It is hard. It is hard. I am rather garbage at the strategy in it. Because attrition in that game is costly, and I think the idea is you really need gambits. At least if you're like me, you need gambits that are going to kind of regenerate your pieces. Because there's a lot of gambits that have conditions that will give you new chess pieces, which means you can use it. See, this is something I got to work out in this game, because in traditional chess, you use your lesser value pieces as bait, as sacrifices essentially, to get at your opponent's higher value pieces. But in a run of Gambonanza, you're playing like 25 rounds. You can't really afford to be sacrificing pieces every round unless you have reliable ways to get them back. And I think your gambits, if they're assembled correctly, can be powerful forces for that. Mine aren't. Mine are just kind of all over the place. I did get one where if I take out pieces with knights, I get more knights. So that might be a start. I'm just having trouble hanging on to my knights at the moment. So yeah, play some more Gambonanza. I did curate that one because I see what's going on and I like it. Definitely trickier than Balatro. I really gotta play Balatro sometime. I really do. If I'm gonna be playing a lot of Balatro butts, I need to experience the original to have a clear point of reference for him. So yeah, I did Gambonanza. I went back and I played more of that blacksmithing simulator. And it is deeper than I was expecting. Right after the point that I stopped at last night, the game introduces you to heroes. You can hire heroes and send them on missions and equip them with gear that you make in your shop. And that's how you unlock more recipes. That's how you unlock more crafting recipes to make higher tier stuff. You equip and send out adventurers. I mean, if you've ever played like a mobile game or a hero collector where you can passively send unused characters on adventures to do stuff. It's basically that same system, but here it's kind of neat. It's kind of a neat idea. There's actually a lot of stuff you can do with your equipment. You have customers come in. I've already had a couple customers that come in, they request something. You can set up display racks where you can just make something and put it on the display rack and set its price and people can come in and buy it if they want. You can make equipment for your heroes. And I think there's going to be other things that you can do with these. So there's a lot of stuff to do with the equipment that you make. Honestly, I'm kind of wondering if like the days are even long enough to do everything that's offered. Like it's a game of surprising breadth. So I'm gonna need to play it some more to see how all the balance works out, because y'all were right about one thing. The core gameplay loop of smelting ingots, heating them up, hammering them out, assembling or cooling them off, assembling the pieces. That part's a little tedious. I can definitely see where mastery will speed it up. If you hit those combo points, you can definitely get stuff done a lot faster, but some of it also feels like a lot of needless clicking, or it's just there to add a little more like more tactile elements to it. But the amount of things you can do in that game are really interesting. You send them in adventures in the mine so you don't have to do that. I'm not sure. If you can, I haven't gotten to that point yet. Cynicism aside, I do like the idea of sending adventures out. It's more effort than I thought an asset flip game would have. Kind of think it'd be fun. I only wish you didn't have to grind for nonsense like that. Oh, are you talking about... Oh, you're talking about Final Fantasy V, yeah. So yeah, I played more Gambonanza. I played more Blacksmithing Simulator. And I played more All Hail the Orb. And All Hail the Horb? I think that's a different game that I can't stream. All Hail the Orb is just as charming as we thought. It is super cute. It's fun. Once you start unlocking the other resources, like last night we just had Devotion, but I've unlocked the next two. Once you get multiple ones going, they all start flowing a lot faster, because then your attention is split, and while you're focusing on one thing, the other ones are building up passively. So the game flows a lot better once you have multiple ones going. It's on blue-plated games. That's Lou's next game. I have a set that lets me summon Bahamut 8 times in a turn. Oh boy! So that's where that shit started. That's where that started. Yeah, it takes me back to the days of quadcasting Bahamut 0 in Final Fantasy 7. Final Fantasy did reach some certain excesses that I don't think they needed to get to at points. But yeah. Yeah, anyway, that's what I wanted to share. I've actually had some time to play some games, and I'm focusing on the stuff that we played from these indie variety nights, because there's a lot of good stuff. There is a lot of good stuff. Gambonanza is great. I will never stop mentioning Under Par Golf, because I really, really like that game. And I feel like more people should pay attention to it. It's really, really cool. Quadcast nights of the round, then take a nap for a bit. Lisa saying us Final Fantasy battle animations don't make me die of old age in real time. True enough. True enough. Yeah. Multicasting stuff in Final Fantasy VI wasn't particularly painful. Honestly, I could watch that Ultima all day. Because I know everything I hit with is gonna die. But yeah, I'm gonna go. Hopefully, if I have some time tomorrow, I'll go back to Cinderia and maybe finish the Talistro demo. I'm not so concerned about finishing any demos. I do want to play more Cinderia, because I want a better idea of how much content is in it at this stage in early access. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, chat, we're half an hour in. We have the magazine. We should honor the magazine. Let me give you the schedule reminder and we will get rolling on this. Tonight, of course, is the Power Hours. Thursdays and Saturdays are supposed to be the Power Hours when I can actually stream. Tomorrow night, I will be streaming tomorrow night. It is Sunday. I always stream on Sundays. And this Sunday, we will be, very important, a very special stream. I will be starting a brand new playthrough of Satisfactory. And I'm going to be playing on the experimental 1.2 branch. So if you haven't, even if you played Satisfactory before, if you haven't played it in a hot minute, there's going to be some new stuff to check out. So, but I'm very excited about this. I love Satisfactory. And since I've been playing a lot of Factorio in the lead up to it, it'll be fun to compare and contrast now that I've played the quintessential factory automation game. I've always been at war with East Asia. Monday is May the 4th. We are going to be playing a Star Wars thing. I won't reveal what it is ahead of time. You'll just have to be surprised. And you will be surprised, especially this time. I know what I'm doing. You're going to love it. But it's going to be a one-night affair. From Tuesday, we're going to start our next big Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday adventure, which is going to be the Rusty Lake Cube Escape series. I'm going to be starting that one up and getting as far as y'all will let me get into it. I will be making it democratic. So we'll do as much of a series survey of it as y'all are interested. Sipping on gin and juice, I certainly am. Certainly am. So yeah, that's the plan, chat. So, the magazine. More Yoshi's Islands. They want to remind... Again, Nintendo Power is kind of struggling in 1996 because at this point they were kind of expecting to be all in on the Nintendo 64, and the big system delays are throwing a real wrench in their works. So they're kind of having to rehash the greatest hits here. So they were like, why don't we just do a big breakdown of all the bosses in Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island? So they go through them all, from Bert the Bashful all the way to King Bowser. King Baby Bowser. It's a nice reminder there are some delightfully creative bosses in Super Mario World 2. Personal favorites of mine, I mean, Raphael the Raven is an all-time, like, seriously all-time great boss. Seriously one of the best bosses ever. It's such a creative fight. It's so cool. The final fight against King Bowser is pretty cool. I've always been a pretty big fan of Hookbill Koopa, because it's a slightly more complicated fight than most. I always thought Sluggy the Unshaven was a neat one. Naval Piranha. Roger the Potted Ghost is like barely a boss fight. I just love the concept of it, and defeating him is just hilarious. This isn't to say that the other bosses in this game aren't good. They're all very fun and cute and interesting. It's just some are way more creative than others. Roger is definitely the funniest, yeah. Prince Froggy's definitely the biggest pain in the ass. Saw a stream of a game that I swear like the Super Star Wars except it was Stargate. No kidding. No kidding. So yeah. Whoever did the scans for this magazine, this particular issue kind of fucked up because the Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island Most Wanted is the fold out, but they accidentally split this with the Super Mario RPG coverage, which is what we're going to focus on tonight. So you'll have to forgive the layout. I'll read... I guess we'll skip the wavy text. I'll skim through this and then we'll skip ahead to the rest of it and talk about the Mario RPG feature. How did Yoshi's Island bosses wind up so good? I have a series of so many nothing-ass bosses. I think it was specifically the tech. I think this is one of those rare instances where the technology available really got the creative juices flowing. Yeah, unfortunately on NES, like, well, original Mario has one boss. It has one boss that they reuse and punch up over and over and over again. Mario 2 actually had some creative bosses, but then again, I mean, that was basically a different, they were basically culled from a different game. Mario 3, they got creative with the Koopa Kids. I think they hurt themselves a little bit by making all the Koopa Kid fights 3 hits. So they're over really fast. So you don't actually have to engage with a lot of the mechanics. And then Mario World is kind of a lift of Mario 3's bosses. So they had new technology, but they didn't get really creative with it at that point. I think Yoshi's Island is where they really... I don't know if they got new developers in. I don't know if they were just really excited about this new tech. But yeah, all of the bosses in Yoshi's Island are just delightfully creative. Focusing less on Mario versus Bowser freed the devs up to make new bosses. Also true. Also very true. Manic, thank you so much for the 220 stream streak. I appreciate it. I don't think the fact they took 3 hits for the issue. I think it was the fact that you interact with them exactly once. I mean, you interact with the Yoshi's Island bosses exactly once. Though I will say, all of them are like enhanced versions of enemies you face in the castles. So Yoshi's Island does have a better build-up to the bosses and does a better job of setting expectations. But at the same time, like, you know, think about it, like in Mario World, think about, like, I think it was Morton and Roy. That was the other thing too. They kind of reused bosses too. Morton and Roy in Mario World, their gimmick was they would just climb up the walls and go on the ceiling and fall on you. Since they only took 3 hits, you could absolutely ace them before they ever had the chance to do that. Like, straight up. I think the most creative bosses they had in Mario World were... who was it? Larry? Lemmy? I don't remember. The ones on the tilting platforms in the lava lakes, where every time you hit them, they'd like slide down the incline. I think those are really the only interesting ones they did. Wendy and the other... oh, the 2 that pop in and out of the pipes. I think that was Wendy and Iggy, maybe? I almost wonder if it would have gone over better if they had a Mega Man style boss rush near the end. Again, I think it's just the boss concepts themselves. Like, they're just not that creative. Final fight with Bowser is great, but it's so, again, it's unique. It's different. It's so different from everything else in the game up to that point. The great thing about the Yoshi's Island bosses is they're always different every single time. Every single boss has its own unique elements to it. So each one is a unique experience. So it's like that final Bowser fight, but 12 times through the entire game. Like, that's cool. And I mean, from... well, let's see. After Yoshi's Island would be... Mario 64. Mario 64 had some variety to the bosses. I mean, think about like King Babam and King Womp. This is the Bowser's fight always the same. It is always the same. So yeah, they were on a more creative track after Yoshi's Island, but your mileage may vary. I don't think I don't think Mario bosses were really that creative again until Mario Galaxy. I found Super Mario 64 very difficult to work with to the point it sucked a lot of fun. I am not gonna argue that with you. Yeah. Mario 64 is a difficult game to wrangle. I can do it because I grew up with it. because I spent a ton of time with that game. I struggled mightily with it for a long time. I had the strategy guide to help me find all 121 stars. Like, I put in the time to get past the agony in that game, because it is agony. You know, it is the growing pains of the 3D era, you know. I get it. I just went through that with Ocarina of Time. Y'all saw that in real time. So yeah, Mario 64 is essentially the same thing. There was a real rough learning curve on these games when they first jumped to 3D. Mizra, I completely agree. I think it's a surprisingly good 3D platformer for the era. I think Mario 64 is all at once better than you would expect for the first swing at a 3D Mario, and still very frustrating. Yeah, the Galaxy games are fantastic. Well, Galaxy 1 is fantastic. I've actually never played Galaxy 2. I've always wanted to. Probably would have been more forgiving. I played on the N64 at the time. Yeah, I can tell you firsthand. You know, I had Mario 64. I put in the time with Mario 64. I can be very forgiving with Mario 64. Other side of that coin, I did not play Ocarina of Time back on the N64. Playing it now, I was pretty unforgiving with it. So that's just the nature of the beast. Who'd have thought Mario would make great XCOM fodder? I mean, Mario makes great kart racing, great soccer games, great tennis games, great golf games, great puzzle games. Why not? Why not XCOM? What's up, Chaos? How you doing? Biggest issue in Mario 64 is the fact the camera was constantly trying to move between zoomed in and out. Yeah, the camera in Mario 64 is the biggest enemy in the game. And even then, I think it's a really, like, it's a better than average attempt for the era. Reminded that Mario 64 is like a contemporary Bubsy 3D. You know what made me want to play Mario 64? I remember being good. Y'all are spooking me. I mean, replay it. I remember it being good, and I love it. It's fantastic. When we get to a good point in the magazine, I'm gonna play Mario 64 for y'all. Maybe we'll do all 121 stars. Maybe we won't. But I'm definitely gonna play Mario 64 on this channel. I wasn't particularly forgiving of Mario 64 at the time either. I still think Ocarina of Time was pretty influential. I mean, all of these games were. Mario 64 is like the blueprint for like 3D platformers. And I mean, the shadow of Ocarina of Time is ridiculously long. After playing it myself, I can see how FromSoft's entire MO with the Souls series was like, okay, we're gonna do our own Zelda. And we're gonna make it way darker than you ever thought it could be. Loving a thing dearly means acknowledging its flaws. Also true. Never forget that. Never, ever forget that. If you love something, then you need to be willing to accept its faults. There are no perfect games. Shut up, Arcane. I'll turn the page when I feel like it. How about that Blastcore? You know I've never played Blastcore. Actually, you should know I've never played Blastcore because it comes up pretty much every time we're talking about the N64. And I think I always mention that I've never played it before. And then a bunch of people like wail and gnash their teeth. Yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna flip. Do y'all not realize how spite driven I am? Been doing this for like 7 years and y'all still haven't caught on to this. The more you tell me to do something, the less likely I am to actually do it. I am an extremely spite driven person. As friendly and good natured as I am, Spite fuels so many of my decisions. And I'm sure this only enhances that. You should play Castlevania 64. It's shit, but a skeleton rides a motorbike in it. I wish I had Castlevania 64. I do want to play it. I mean, eventually. Eventually. I will have a flash cart to use in my analog 3D, and we will experience the entire, or at least most of the N64 library. But starting out, for the foreseeable future, we're gonna have to stick with the carts that I have on hand. So, we should compare and contrast the Super Mario RPG coverage with that of what Earthbound got. I mean, that's gonna be easy. Earthbound stunk. Literally, it literally stank shit. But here, let's read through some of this for y'all. Am I completely insane, or at the time of this printing has Super Mario RPG been out for a bit? You might be insane. Let's double check. Mario RPG did not come out in North America until May. So we're still 2 months out from it at this point. Role-playing games have come a long way since the days of Zork. Chat, they just name-dropped Zork. Holy shit. Never has there been such a radical leap as you'll find in Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars. Mario's greatest adventure takes place in a 3D three-quarter view world that pulses with life. Mario's friends mingle with mushroom citizens, Bowser's Koopa cronies, plus a bevy of bouncing baddies from beyond the Mushroom Kingdom. Yada 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 yada. Mario's brash and bouncy as ever. He does all the Mario things. Squaresoft, the maker of classic RPGs such as Final Fantasy III, what we now know as Final Fantasy VI, and Chrono Trigger, what we now know as Chrono Trigger, developed the game in Japan with guidance from Shigeru Miyamoto. Even when Square used regular RPG ideas, they included some action element to keep things hopping. The mix works. Super Mario RPG truly is a game that has something for everybody. It's fun, it's innovative, and the graphics rival the best from Rare, who of course is the de facto best graphics people on Earth forever and always. The RPGs have come a long way since Zork, a game that none of you have ever heard of. Why was there no Zork port to the NES, chat? That's how the timeline goes. Zork, then nothing, then Super Mario RPG. I like this. They took a screenshot from Final Fantasy II, what we now know as Final Fantasy IV, and Super Mario World, what we now know as Super Mario World. And it's like, it's this. Combines many of the best parts of traditional RPGs and platform games. Square's Final Fantasy series was the model for the battle sequences, while the tradition of Super Mario Brothers games demanded a lot of action. All right, let's skip past all of this, I hope. Oh, okay. So yeah, we gotta hang out over here. Oh my god, it's Gino, chat! It's Gino! Gino for Smash! Alright, story synopsis. The incorrigible Bowser, king of the Koopas, has done it once again. He's snatched Princess Toadstool away from her home and imprisoned her in Koopa Castle. When will he ever learn? Mario, catching wind of this, rushes to the castle, engages the big brute in battle, but defeat is snatched from the jaws of victory when Smithy, a giant sword, crashes through the Star Road high above the world and plunges straight down into the castle. Mario, the princess, and Bowser are flung far apart by the impact. When they pick themselves up, they find the world has changed and not for the better. Mario begins his journey to set things right by going to the Chancellor of the Mushroom Kingdom. There he meets Mallow, an orphan who wants to find his true family. The two companions head off to find the princess, and they meet Gino, a mysterious entity who must collect the 7 star pieces that fell to Earth after Smithy plunged through the Star Road. Eventually, the princess and Bowser join Mario's party. Unless the damage is repaired, no wishes will come true, and the Mushroom Kingdom will be doomed. It's a really interesting hook for a Mario game. Specifically because Bowser isn't the main antagonist, and in fact becomes an ally later in the game. That's a really neat twist for something like this. Also, the mystery of what Smithy is and what the fuck is even going on is pretty compelling for a Mario game. Geno was take place in New York. After playing Mario RPG, I still don't understand why Geno became such a fan favorite. I don't know. I'm not trying to piss on anybody's dreams here, but I mean, it's a puppet guy. He has a gun arm. That's cool. Did Square borrow Barrett's gun arm from like early production Final Fantasy VII and give it to Geno? Probably just because he never came back. I mean, Mallow never came back, but I don't see people agitating for Mallow in Smash. Or who's that creepy beardy guy in this Booster? Did Boshi ever come back? Should have boosted Booster instead. Booster's gross though. Booster's fucking gross. I think games journalism has a tendency to always favor any game that has art made with 3D graphics versus hand-drawn sprites because it's easier to have a conversation about the tech behind it, rather than appreciating that artists slaved over some art the traditional way. You make a good point. You make a good point, and I find this to be a serious failing of media not to further explore the work, the struggle behind making really quality 2D graphics. I would have liked to have seen more of that in Nintendo Power, but unfortunately that era is long behind us. I'm not going to say most people that want Geno and Smash have no clear reason for it, but I'll sure think it. I don't know. People, look, people get attached to things. I get it. I get it. I don't get why Geno specifically, but I get these hopeless obsessive fandoms, so I'm not going to question it too hard. This is not in Mario RPG. I don't remember this part. Yeah, Thanos. I really hope everybody watching right now is aware that Thanos was a thing before the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That they didn't just make him up out of whole cloth. Thanos was Marvel's dark side. This is not Mario RPG, but it should be! Strange rendition of Kulex here. You know you're not even that far off base, really. He's got the crystals and everything. I have to imagine an alternate timeline. Squaresoft got tapped to make like a Marvel superheroes RPG and like launched a brave new era of actually good superhero video games like decades ahead of time. Diet Darkseid. Thanos, I like Thanos. I think Thanos is cool. I've always felt like DC characters are interesting in concept, but not very well implemented. Like Darkseid is cool in concept, but in practice, I think he kind of sucks. He's just I just don't feel like he's all that threatening, all that effective. Thanos, even though he's like Dayglow purple, like I feel like actually managed to be a pretty menacing dude. Jack Kirby invented the New Gods first. Yeah. Always remember going to Walgreens for a COVID shot and hearing the farm techs talk about how Ant-Man should climb into Thanos' ass and kill him. But I mean, you know what? No comment. Thanos is right up there with Kefka, and then he accomplished his goal. He did. He did. Oh, this is so much better, chat. This is look at this, chat. Look at this. Just drink it in. Less looking, more playing. Now we're talking. Let's do some War of the Gems. This is how you troll. Is up there with Chris's face from Resident Evil 1? That is about some art, isn't it? And you get bonus Captain America O-face over here. Alright, let's do this, chat. You want a war for these gems? So it shall be. Dave. What is this actually called? Is it like Marvel War of the Gems? Is it Avengers War of the Gems? What is the actual release title of this? Never mind, I got it. Marvel Superheroes War of the Gems. We're good. Curious about simply, I legitimately do remember a game at all. Neither do I. Like, I remembered Arcade's Revenge. I remember the old X-Men arcade game. Like, I remember the Spider-Man games. I have no memory. I even remember the shitty old NES Avengers platformer. I have no memory of this game. Absolutely none. Thanos shows an unfair advantage because what media has Darkseid been in outside of the comics? I mean, technically they put him in some DC movies, but I mean, he certainly hasn't had the cultural impact that Thanos had. Infinity Gems! There are 6 different Infinity Gems. Each gem controls one of the forces of either time, space, power, reality, mind, or soul. It's Adam Warlock! It is said the being who obtains all the gems will become omnipotent, ruler of the universe. Quote, someone has started to gather these 6 gems. If they can gather all of the gems, the universe will suffer a new age of evil. You must help. Adam Warlock asks Earth's mightiest heroes. Knowing that the fate of the entire universe is at stake, Earth's mightiest heroes assemble to assist Adam Warlock in preventing the Infinity Gems from falling into the wrong hands. Go get him, America. Shaboom. All right, here we go. Adam Warlock, he looks like a douche. You just answered your own question. Are we doing this again? Nope. As the Infinity Gems fall to the Earth, the human race begins to realize that it is in grave danger. The heroes, determined to assist Adam Warlock, began to search for the gems that have been scattered over the world. Stark Enterprises' supercomputer has pointed out 4 locations where the Infinity Gems may have landed. 1, near Dr. Doom's castle in Latveria. 2, the Amazon River Basin of the central region of South America. 3, Alaska in the northern region of North America. 4, the Boston Aquarium in the eastern area of North America. Investigate. One fell in the Amazon, 1 fell in Alaska, 1 fell in Boston, and 1 fell in Dr. Doom's backyard. I'm sorry, we gotta go to the Boston Aquarium. Eastern American Aquarium where one of the gems may have landed. Yes! Fuck that, I'm not going to Boston. Choose your player, chat. Who we gonna play as? Holy shit, Hulk does have a shirt, yes. Oh no, he's hot. Sexy Hulk? Sexy Hulk it shall be. Smexy Hulk. You get items in this? Okay, sure. Oh, with that Ken Shiro profile. It looks like the fucking Jolly Green Giant here. So it's a straight side scroller. Adam Warlock. It seems the villains have planted some explosives in the aquarium. You have to find the gem and escape immediately. If you don't, you'll perish. Hulk not know what that means. Okay, man. Do you actually do anything in this game, or what? I hope Hulk can breathe underwater. Can Hulk breathe underwater? My first enemy in the game was a gate. Oh, there's somebody. It's P-Man. Oh my god, I actually have an air meter. I just noticed. I wasn't paying any attention to that. But Hulk actually needs oxygen to survive. That guy is Puck. I can't even bring myself to ask who Puck is. He's from Alpha Flight? Okay. Wait, why are we fighting Alpha Flight? Oh, Caviar Bar. Who's that? Puck is shuffled around. E-Man. He's kind of annoying. Oof. Go! I miss Go. White Vision, Sauron. Hulk game kind of boring so far. Yeah, this is super slow paced. I've literally punched 3 enemies so far. I've punched more doors than enemies. And that continues to be the trend. Like, this is a Capcom game. This is not how Capcom games are supposed to be. Also, you are like, when you take damage in this game, you are flattened for a long time. Alright, things would be faster if we picked a different character for this. If I can get through this stage, we can take a quick look at another one. Yeah, it could be the water slowing everything down, potentially. I know there's a thing down there. I don't care. Who's that? Because it certainly looks like Hawkeye. Also, if Hulk run out of air, do Hulk die? Never mind. Oh yeah, he definitely moves much faster out of the water. So he might have just picked a really unfortunate stage to start with. Sounds like boss. Gotta load the boss. What? Evil Iron Man? Well, that was a boss fight, wasn't it? All that for what? Is that the Power Stone? I got the gem. Did you truly believe you could beat me with muscle? We could have talked. Use your brain. Okay, real quick, let's check out Dr. Doom's castle. Castle Doom, ruled by the brilliant and twisted scientist known as Dr. Doom. I'm gonna be Spooderman. Spooderman seems like he would be the quickest out of all these characters. Badoop, badoop. This is just Castlevania. What are those? They look goofy AF. These look like bad guys from Doctor Who. These are Doombots? Like old school Doombots? Oh. Wait, what if I didn't pick Spider-Man for this? Oh! Oh! These levels might actually have alternate routes through them depending on what characters you take. Like, Hulk can't climb walls, so he smashes the doors. Spooderman can't smash the doors, so he climbs the walls. I'm just speculating. I can't be sure, but yeah. Seems like that might be the case. Spooderman shoot web. I can't find none of the other buttons seem to do anything. It seems like everybody can jump and punch, and that is literally it. What if you hit both buttons at once? Nah. If I hit too many buttons at once, it's gonna reset the system, so I have to be careful. Quarter circle punch. It is a Capcom game, to be fair. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, well, Spider-Man died. Okay, I'm good. This is not a particularly exciting game. It looks good, it plays fine, but the levels are super boring. Like, super boring. And you could get away with that in like a proper beat 'em up where your characters had more combat options and you're able to kind of scoot around. But yeah, not here. So yeah. Chat, give me 1 second. I just noticed I got a message. Hang on a sec. Okay. Has some interesting ideas. Could use better iteration. Yeah, really could have. Much better than any LJN game. Bar was so low. Yeah. Anyway, back to the Marios. Capcom saw the previous LJN Marvel games and saw that an easy win. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so they're gonna go ahead and break down the early game, and they're gonna do it using virtual maps. Road back to Bowser's Castle and the ultimate confrontation with Smithy may be a short one, but the journey takes many twists and turns. Players seek out the 7 lost star pieces. Not all one way either. Lots of different terrain. Enemies pop up everywhere. Puzzles may be found. On this page, we highlight just a few of the sites you'll see in Mario's newly expanded 3D world. Moleville, Rosetown, Chancellor, Precision Jumps, Pipe World, Skillful Jumps, Mario. Regularly, Mario just punches his foes. He can be even more effective with weapons he finds or purchases along the way. Mario's Ultra Flame cooks competition. He won't gain use of it for a while. Mallow. Mario bumps into his roly-poly companion in the Mushroom Kingdom after Mallow had his money stolen by the wily thief Croco. Shortly thereafter, the spongy orphan joins up with Mario in hopes of finding his long-lost family. He soon proves to be a valuable ally in the fight against Smithy. Specialties include a Thunderbolt attack that rains destruction on all your enemies and a healing shower called HP Rain. Gino the doll comes to life and sets off, saves Rosetown from the mad archer in the forest. Seems like a fairy tale come true. Mario and Mallow learn that appearances can be deceptive because Gino is really a guardian of the Star Road who's been sent to Earth to recover the 7 lost star pieces. He uses shooting weapons, a special laser beam. Once Gino joins the party, you'll always have 3 characters. The other thing is, I remember Gino just not being very effective. I feel like Gino was not very useful. I think my party was always like Mario, Mallow, and either Peach or Bowser. Reflection is the first Mario game since Super Mario Bros. 2 where Peach takes an active role. Yes. Yes, it is. Poor Peach gets reduced to MacGuffin in most Mario outings. They break down the battle system. They talk about timed attacks, combo attacks, and stuff. Finding unexpected bonuses is one of the biggest thrills in a Mario game. One of the most unexpected and welcome times to get bonus Super Mario RPGs during a knockdown drag-out fight. Time to time, you'll be rewarded with max HP, which fills up the character's hit points. You can also get a free extra attack. After using items in battle, you also often get a freebie to replace the item you just spent. Yeah, I have no idea what determines freebies. I feel like maybe it was just a concession to make the game flow more smoothly. Like maybe they tuned everything to be a bit too difficult, and once they realized that, they just threw, instead of retuning everything, they just threw 3 freebies in there to kind of paper over some of it. Mario's Wild Rides. I actually forgot about this minecart ride. I remember the musical tadpoles and the Yoshi races. Oh, there's Boshi. Boshi in Japanese means hat. Who is this ultra hip shaded blue dinosaur with a spiked collar? It's Yoshi's nemesis, Boshi, who hasn't been beaten at the races in ages. Up to you to put this blue brute in his place. When did she stop being Princess Toadstool? I'm not sure, actually. Oh, that's Tales of Phantasia. Is it? Oh yeah, she signs her letter Peach in Mario 64, doesn't she? I think they stopped referring to her as Princess Toadstool. They just call her Princess Peach now. But yeah, she was Princess Toadstool for a long time. Also, very, very limited amount of inventory slots. Freebies help when you can't keep 1,000 mushrooms on hand. Uses both in 64 to get you used to the change. Okay. Midi mentioned Bowser here. You can bet the King of the Koopas doesn't appreciate being thrown out of his castle, flung off into what? Excuse me. Hang into the chat. Don't worry, we're good. We're good. I got this. Bowser says about recruiting an army in spite of the humiliation. Eventually joins up with Mario. He uses Chomp as a weapon and Big Boo as a special attack. You might imagine Bowser is tough and strong and proves to be a good companion. Excuse me. I would actually be interested to know why they shifted over to Peach from Princess Toadstool. I'd also like to know where Daisy came from, because Daisy is just this like, it just randomly comes up in Super Mario Land, and then actually got staying power from that. Yep. Daisy didn't come from anywhere before Super Mario Land. That is her original appearance, and I want to know why. I want to know like, my assumption is that they decided to go just all new with Mario Land because they came up with this. I can't pronounce this. Sahara's Land, whatever. And I guess they wanted all new characters and mythology to go along with that. So we got Daisy instead of Toadstool. Wonder they didn't use Peach because the team that made Super Mario Land 1 wasn't the team that normally made Mario games, so they weren't sure they could use her. Perhaps. That'd be as good an explanation as I have. Boom. But yeah. Just another one of those interesting things that had long-standing repercussions. Thought they decided to go all new because the graphics didn't allow for blonde hair. Princess Toadstool did not have blonde hair in the original Super Mario Brothers. Or in Mario 3. Or in Mario 2. In fact, she was a brunette through the entire NES era. Bring back brunettes. I mean, they have Daisy. They got Daisy. Peach was not blonde in 3, no. Oh yeah, and Pauline. Can't forget Pauline. Give me a screenshot. Here you go. I like Pauline too. I love what they did with Pauline in Odyssey. Like, Pauline in New Donk City is one of my favorite parts of Odyssey. What do you mean, what? We were just talking about how Princess Peach is a brunette in Mario 3. And Manic didn't remember that. So. Being forgotten was one of the perils of being Pauline. I mean, no one Oh no, that is the dialogue in the game. That is absolutely the dialogue. She totally does a little send up of the original Super Mario Brothers text when you get to the end of a castle. That is authentic. That is genuine. I could beat Mario 3 for you right now if you wanted to confirm. Odyssey's amazing. Odyssey is an amazing game. Of the 3D Marios, it is second only to Galaxy for me. And there are things about Odyssey that I like more than Galaxy. Now, I'm not gonna play Super Mario Brothers 3 right now. Perhaps another time, but yeah. I do love Super Mario Brothers 3. There will always be a need for that kind of filler, so. But yeah, anyway, let's talk about Tales of Phantasia. An interactive adventure. It's okay, chat. They do call it an RPG. They're not splitting hairs here. Namco's latest RPG is taking the Japanese game world by storm. We don't know if this title will ever grace our shores, but in the meantime, sit back, relax, and listen to the spellbinding Tales of Phantasia. I always get the different Tales games mixed up. I don't know dick about the Tales of games. I watched a friend of mine play Tales of Vesperia. That's really the only one I know anything about. You could give me the list of titles and tell me to put them in order and, like, put a gun to my head and I'd be dead in minutes. I have always existed outside of the Tales of franchise. I wonder if there's an editorial position on talking about Japanese-only titles. I mean, I think they had to balance it. I think there was a definite benefit to them featuring Japan-only titles to kind of help build interest in them as a sort of support for the publishers, to let them know, you know, we're doing what we can to lay foundations if you do want to expand past Japan. But I think they also didn't want to focus on that too heavily because, you know, what's the point of getting a magazine every month that's going to show you games you can't actually play? That's just going to get frustrating. There's also the complication of titles they genuinely believe would come out in America and then didn't. I mean, there were a lot of those. There were tons of those. We have all throughout the Power Hours, we have been haunted by games that have been in the Now Playing, have gotten full features in the magazine, and never actually came out. That was just the nature of the business, you know? Some of those to see if American audiences would be interested in these games. I'm also not sure how they would learn about that interest. I would say it's probably more likely that Namco either talked to the people at Nintendo Power or just straight paid them off to do a feature on Tales of Phantasia because they were considering localizing and bringing the game over. And they wanted to lay some groundwork if and when they did. We completely lost some of the games that didn't come to America, didn't come over for a reason. We missed out on some pretty cool stuff. We missed out on some real stinkers. I mean, yeah. That's gonna be any console lineup, really. There's always gonna be some garbage in there. But yeah, let's talk about this interactive adventure. In Japan, quality RPGs and simulation games are a yen a dozen. So why has Tales of Phantasia garnered so many rave reviews from critics and fans since its release last December? At a time when RPGs are becoming more cinematic in scope and presentation, Namco decided to play with the concept to the hilt and give Tales of Phantasia, look and feel of an interactive movie. To do this, they turned to a genre of sci-fi and fantasy-related animation films called OAVs, original animation videos, for inspiration. In Japan, many voice actors enjoy the kind of star status that Americans usually reserve for their on-camera counterparts. A number of famous vocal talents were enlisted to provide the voices for the game's heroes, which are heard throughout the game. Character designs were executed by acclaimed artist Kosuke Fujishima, best known for his hit You're Under Arrest and Oh My Goddess OAV series. There's some deep cuts for you, chat. Even the game's opening resembles nothing so much as a film's title sequence, complete with a digitally recorded theme song and vocals. All these elements and more combine to bring home the idea that Tales of Phantasia is not just another RPG, but rather an interactive drama. If you have Nintendo Power, I only realize how I'm going to localize these voice lines. Screw it. Well, it's cheap. I imagine in the grand scheme of things, it's cheap to get Nintendo Power to do something. So you might just be better off stacking the deck just in case. Crazy to remember this is Nintendo's third system ever, and only Sega was real competition. The video game industry was doing pretty well. Wouldn't necessarily have made assumptions about being stable quite yet. I suppose so. Adding a top cinematic feel of the widescreen battle scenes, the side-scrolling camera panning back and forth between your party and their adversaries. What has fired fans' imagination even more, however, is the battle system itself. Rather than using menus, players activate action-style moves by pressing a single button on the control pad. You control only Kless, the main character, during battles. The other characters, including Chester, Kless's childhood friend and expert archer, Mint, a magic-wielding healer, Arch, powerful magician, and Clarth, a medium who summons spirits for offense and defense, will automatically attack, defend, or disengage from battle according to preset orders. The mighty journalistic behemoth Nintendo Power's pen being for sale? Unlikely. They get combo attacks using technical points, and that's something. Okay, so they only... Okay, maybe... Seeing as how this is only a 2-page feature, I'm actually going to rescind my previous supposition. I don't think Namco paid them for this. I think there was probably just a Tales of Phantasia fan on NP's staff. And they were like, come on, it'll be fun. Alright. Take a peek, see at Tales of Phantasia. Again... Yeah, fine. You can have 2 pages. Where is this? There we go. I knew I had this knocking around here somewhere. I know this is what you wanted, chat, so. What's up, Nemrin? How you doing? This is your favorite part. I think I've seen snippets of this one. This is seriously like the 4th or 5th time we've done this. Douse. It's like they tried to type chaos and just fat fingered it. Yeah, realistically, it's probably the 3rd time. Because we did it for an import night, and then we did it again for something, and now we're doing it a third time. Possibly a fourth time. I may have forgotten an instance of this, but... Good job, Namco. Point where could be shouting like a sleeve McDykel, but this missed it. I do really like the title screen in this game. The title screen is very, 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 very pretty. Can we just continue from... Nope. I've never actually gotten far enough in this game to save. Whatever, man. He just keeps talking when he should be fighting. I remember this. Can you skip? You can't skip this. Good. It's cool, but we've seen it so many times. Seen the intro so many times, it's constantly a ball. Who are you? What are you doing here? No. You have a necklace. He's a ball and then they make him be a triangle. I'd be pretty upset about that too. After generations, this curse upon my family finally ends. Get jewelried, idiot. "10 years have since passed." Dad, you called me? How's your mother doing today? She's doing much better. Fever is gone. She should be fine in a day or two. Good, I'm glad she's feeling better. I need to talk about the pendant. My pendant? The one you gave to me for my birthday? What about it? Yeah, there's a giant existential threat to the world in it. Same. Feel like I probably should have mentioned that sooner. Hey, Amy, I'm going hunting today. Is class going too? Can I come too? No, shut up. Go inside. You're still too young. Be a good girl and wait here for me to come back, okay? Okay, be careful, Chester. I will. See you later, sis. Or not. Yeah, this is a Chrono Trigger font. Isn't that Chester's voice coming from outside? Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I was supposed to go hunting with Chester today. We'll talk about it over dinner tonight. Okay, I'll see you then. Good luck, son. Master Tristan, you're more than welcome to stay here with us as long as you like. Thank you kindly, Sir Miguel. I'm glad someone in this house knows how to train rather than going to play in the woods. And shut the fuck up. He's staring at us menacingly through the window. Then late Chester, Master Tristan came by the house. He's a real dickbag. Class, wait. Mom, you're still sick. Get back to bed and get some rest. I know. I'm just worried. This area isn't safe anymore. Mom Chester's coming with me. We'll be fine. Alright, Miss Alvain. We'll be back with plenty of food. You'll need to be rested just so you can cook it all. Alright, please be careful and take these with you. Mom gives you 2 apple gummies. Okay, I'm just gonna zoom right out of the village and get going with everything. The reflections are a really nice touch. Good question about why world-ending pendant got in the same vicinity of some mooks in a peaceful village. I mean, hide it in a place where no one would suspect, right? Are you two leaving? We're going hunting. I see. Have fun and good luck. Where are you headed, Tristan? We're going to visit a friend. Good day. I guess we're going this way. Hey, there goes a boar. Oh, that's pretty boring. Let's follow it. I'll try to save when I leave the forest here. Yatta. And another apple gummy. That came from like the inside of a bee. Are you sure you want to eat that? There it goes again. Honey is bee vomit. To be fair, Japan makes some excellent gummies. They do, don't they? Plus gained a level. Learned Cyan Bolt. Chester gained a level. Learned nothing. Chester doesn't believe in learning. Nice. Suck, Chester. Chester's perfect already. There's nowhere to go. More apple gummies. Yatta. Darn, where'd it go? What's up, Hildy? Good to see you. Finished losing a bowling and rapping karaoke. Looks like we got some Tales of Phantasia. We've been here before, but it's always worth another look. Sworn I saw it come this way. Plus the JRPG protagonist, of course, he gets like a dozen more skills than the other party members. There's a girl in this tree. Please, Kless, you must protect this tree. One of the first retro games I played on ROM without really knowing it before. Good game. Yeah, I don't know anything about the Tales of games. I've never played any of them myself. I watched a roommate play most of Tales of Vesperia, but I don't remember anything about it other than there's a cool ass dog in it. No luck. Find anything? Klaus, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. No, I'm fine. Let's keep looking. There it is. Let's go. Boss pig. Pop. Theoretically, you can control any of the characters in battle. You're obviously supposed to play as class. Phantasia is considered the hardest as far as canon. I mean, it's the first one, right? Biggest animal we've ever killed. There'll be plenty eaten. Let's head home. That's the village alarm. Something's happened. Hurry up. Uh-oh. Symphonia is a pivot point. Bro, how are you getting blocked by a bee? His world with his bees are super bees. How you gonna judge a bee? Harshly. You don't get defeated by bees all the time. I don't have to like it. Oh my god, they could have turned off the random encounters for this part. I think Disco Elysium earlier and they mentioned Hornet VB. Hornet VB is just intensely fascinating stuff. There's one line, but B he'll deactivate. Was it all the same world? I thought they did the Final Fantasy thing of being mostly unrelated. Oh my, what happened? Oh god, Amy, I've got to find her. It's all cooked, chat. Dad! Mom! Mom, wake up, don't die! Let's run away, go north to Euclid and see your uncle. They, your pendant. They, who did this? Mom, open your eyes, please, no! Chester, I'm so sorry. Too dangerous to stay here. Let's go to my uncle's place. Can't leave Amy and the other villagers like this. Amy was the only family I had, Kless. And like I'm saying, if you leave alone. I have to make sure they all get a proper burial. Even I have to do it myself. They at least deserve that much. For the people who did this return, I don't want to lose you too. Sorry, Kless, but I can't. Chester. Go ahead without me. I'll catch up when I finish here. It's dangerous for both of us to stay. Promise me that I'll see you again soon. I promise. Someday you and I will fight side by side again and we'll find who did this. Alright, goodbye, my friend. Okay, laters. No kiss. Hey, your pendant is... My pendant, is that what my parents were trying to tell me? My father gave this to me. It is apocalyptic in nature. I've got to get out of here. It's the only way Chester will be safe. Mother. Father. We gotta head up north to the place. Ambushed. By whom? Can't carry the statue, but maybe I can pull it around. Push or pull on stones or directly find it by pressing and holding except I'm moving the statue around. Is it me or is the blocking sound effect unusually loud? The interface is not in the best shape here, but yeah. Is there... Okay, I tell you what, I'm gonna go back out to the world map real quick and save. This way we actually have a save file. So yeah, Tales of Phantasia. I mean, cinematically, presentation-wise, it's a pretty remarkable game. Like they were doing stuff on here that other RPGs at the time really weren't. So I can certainly understand the appeal. Seems solid, yeah. Perhaps someday, chat. We have far too many other things to do to throw the Tales of series on the pile, but you know. Tips for PTO2. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care. PTO2 is a very, very crunchy military sim, and I'm not the kind of person to get into these. I appreciate Nintendo Power taking the time to outline a bunch of this stuff for the people who do want to get into this game. But yeah, it's not for me. And they put a lot of turns in here. A lot of tips and stuff. Let's talk about classified information, shall we? There is a secret debug menu for Sequest DSV. Red Alarm, the little people. This trick won't help you win the game, but it's fun to do. Play through the first stage and come to the room with the small figures running around. Destroy the enemies and stop and turn back towards the entrance of the room. Fly slowly along the wall to your right and shoot the lower right corner of the wall near the door. A little house will appear, complete with stick people and furniture. Okay. Logo for Red Alarm is damn near illegible. Yeah. Well, much like everything else on the Virtual Boy. Lemmings subtitles. You can actually subtitle what the little lemmings say. Stage like a boss portrait for Doom Troopers. End screen credits for Jungle Strike. Creative use of poultry in The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. We recently just discovered 3 tricks, one that is useful and amusing, and 2 that are just, well, you have to see for yourself. For the first trick, you'll need the boomerang and the rooster. Throw the boomerang as far as you can, then grab the rooster before the boomerang returns. As long as you hold the rooster, you'll be able to fly around the screen with the boomerang whirling beneath you. The boomerang will defeat enemies and pick up any items left after a battle. When you drop the rooster, you'll pick up the boomerang and all the items collected. As for the other 2 tricks, sprinkle a little magic powder on or fire the flame rod at a chicken and see what happens. I would not recommend, frankly. You're taking your life in your hands there if you do that. Shaq Fu's Secret Arena. Okay. Stage select for packing time. And then just codes out the ass. for MK3. Bunch of stuff for Smoke, Shang Tsung, Shao Kahn, Motaro. Mostly bossy stuff. Abusing the noble Koholint Kukos. You don't fuck with the chickens, man. You don't ever fuck with the chickens. Those things are immortal and foul-tempered if you set them off. Still can't get over the aesthetic changes, the classified information. Still not okay with them, but yeah. Afraid of chickens in every game since Zelda, yeah. Easy to do. Oh boy, sports' games. Chat, there's a pretty decent chance that we can just glide through the rest of the magazine, depending on how y'all are feeling tonight. Because, oh boy, I do not care about sports games. Your stick slaps against the ice, transforming the frozen rubber puck on the tip of your stick into a net-seeking missile. You watch transfixed, reminding yourself that it's only a game. Yeah, it's Game Boy hockey. It's not like sex or anything. I don't care at all about hockey unless about hockey men fucking each other, which Oddish is definitely playing into. Butter your buns. Let's glide on out. Where's the check, please, Hockey Twigs game? They're leaving money on the table, chat. It's NHL 96 is equal to NHL 95. I just don't care. I just don't care. Pass the puck, slap some shots. Great taste, less filling. Whatever. Oh god, I care about this even less. This is kind of a dire issue, chat. Unless you were just on pins and needles waiting for information about Super Mario RPG, this is not a good issue of Nintendo Power. Blues Traveler seeks to stop an evil sorcerer. Blues Traveler, you say? Evil sorcerer Gargamel is Smurfnap, Brainy Smurf, Jokey Smurf, and Smurfette. Rescue the 3 blue captives. Hefty Smurf must... Hefty Smurf? Hefty? Really? Journey through 12 exciting stages, including mountain swamps and a gold mine. iMotion has wisely tailored the sites for the young Smurf maniacs. Simple gameplay, a wide variety of scenery and challenge, and good use of the Super Game Boy palette contribute to a Smurfin' good time. Get Smurf, chat. Smurf your Smurf all over the Smurf, and don't worry if the Smurf smurfs, because you got a Smurf in that. Body shaming Smurfs in canon, apparently. Hefty? You're really going by Hefty? Did you choose that? Did your friends choose that? Did the trash bag company choose that? I mean, I got questions. Hefty Smurf probably retconned like the black space. Oh my god, chat. Not even getting a poor Ginger Smurf or Smurfette. Yeah, Smurfette. Yeah. The one female Smurf. Hefty is probably just the Muscle Man character. I mean, presumably, this key art, because you play as Hefty, right? Presumably, this key art is represented. I'm sorry. I gotta look this up. I gotta look up Hefty Smurf. I gotta know if he actually presents as Hefty. Well, now I just get the modern CG Smurf versions. Okay, chat. I'm sorry. This is really funny. Yeah, he has a tattoo. You know he's the tough one because he has a heart tattoo on his shoulder. He's the Smurf who's gonna fuck your shit up. Also, Gideon Lord Crispin, it's a pleasure to see you tonight. Smurfette was an American creation. She was created so it wasn't a colony of gay Smurfs. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Certainly couldn't have had a mom tattoo with only one girl. Smurfs are not an American creation, no. Belgian. They are Belgian in origin. The original work that they are from is known as The Flute with Six Holes, a comic from 1958. They got their first animated series only 3 years after that, though. By 2008, the franchise had generated $4 billion in revenue, making the Smurfs one of the highest grossing media franchises of all time. I'm sorry, this is like the most interesting list in the world for me. I know we've talked about this before. I'm gonna harangue you with this again because I just find it like immensely fascinating. Ever crossed over with the Moomins? I imagine modern Smurfs crossed over with fucking everything. There we go. List of highest grossing media franchises is just fucking fascinating to me. Right at the top of the list is Pokemon. Like, of course, it's Pokemon. $115 billion. Right after them, Mickey Mouse, then Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh, of course, is the original books and the Disney franchise combined. Right after them is Star Wars at $46.7 billion. Then Disney Princesses. And then Anpanman. Which, if you know anything about Japanese animation culture, yeah. Yeah, really. Really, really. Anpanman's international. This isn't the thing that a lot of people don't know. Like, Anpanman is not exclusively Japanese. He is known across Asia and even in parts of Europe. He just didn't make it here, is the thing. But you don't have to make it in America to score a cool $38.4 billion. Anyway, following Anpanman is Barbie, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Boy Wizard, Hello Kitty, Call of Duty, Batman, Spooderman, Transformers is way the hell up there, but I have to assume the Bayformers movies kind of push them up. And then Naruto, Dungeon Fighter Online, which was actually my old company's game, Nexon. Nexon was the publisher for that one. I have to point this out. Dungeon Fighter Online is only huge because it got early approval for China. It was one of the first non-Chinese online games allowed in China, and it just fucking took off from there. After Dungeon Fighter is Cars and then Candy Crush. Where's the Minecraft? We're getting to that. This is why this is fascinating. It's not because of what's in like the top echelons, it's because of what's not there. I feel like there are a lot of franchises that everybody assumes are like the biggest things in the world, and they aren't. They literally are not. Like, think about all the things that you had in your mind that you were sure were going to be on this list that aren't here yet. And then remember that Looney Tunes is next, followed by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Lion King, just The Lion King, Dora the Explorer, Pac-Man, Paw Patrol, Toy Story, Peanuts, and then Avengers. Then Frozen, then Space Invaders, and then Warcraft. Warcraft is wedged in between Space Invaders and Despicable Me. And both of them beat out Star Trek. Minions surprised Lion King beat Minions. You know, you make a good point there. Minions definitely have like much greater cultural penetration, cultural awareness right now. But I think Lion King had the advantage of being huge back in the late 90s and then having extended life through direct-to-video, which, as far as I know, are pretty popular. The musical, the stage shows, and then the live action. If you're not no, Deep Thought, you nailed it. If you're not selling tons of toys, add-ons, merch, etc., you're not making on here. Yeah, this is basically an exercise in how far you can push merchandising. All of this stuff is merchandised to the fucking hilt. The disposable income adults, a lot of them grew up with it. It was your Disney movie. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it right there. Anyway, after Star Trek is Dragon Ball. After Dragon Ball is Street Fighter. After Street Fighter is Jurassic Park. Then Kimetsu no Yaiba. Then Grand Theft Auto, Real Akuma, and Monster Strike, which is a mobile game I don't know dick about. Spaceballs the flamethrower. Disney got to cheat and fold a bunch of unrelated films with the concept of princess. That's also true, yeah. Yeah, Disney princess is pretty nebulous. Yes. Kimetsu's huge, dude. Kimetsu is huge. Kimetsu is like the biggest thing in Japan right now. Only Naruto making it really high on this is crazy. Because Naruto was big worldwide. Basically standing on the shoulders of what stuff like DBZ established. DBZ kind of brought anime to the worldwide stage, and then Naruto was the one that capitalized on that. Not One Piece, not Bleach. Naruto is the one of the big three that made it big around the world. And yes, they are including Boruto, because Naruto is still going. It's so huge there wasn't a are you fucking kidding me? Is that meant to be a joke? I was about to say this makes a lot of sense. It depends on how much merch I see these franchises at Walmart and go to any dollar store nowadays and see Naruto merch. Exactly. What's up, Ball at Work? Had a discussion with a friend recently about what figure is most culturally recognizable nowadays. We came with Mario in the top spot, followed by Jesus in second, Mickey Mouse in third. Wonder how we did. The answer is Pikachu. The answer is that probably more people on this earth know Pikachu than Mario, Jesus, and Superman combined. Yeah. Pokemon is the biggest media franchise on Earth. Pikachu died for our sins. In the modest 5 to 9 billion range, you have James Bond, then Mario, then Angry Birds, then Thomas the Tank Engine, then Fortnite, then Super Sentai, Lord of the Rings, X-Men, Superman, the DC Extended Universe, Fast and Furious, Lilo and Stitch, Pirates of the Caribbean, Ben 10, bet you forgot about him, then the Muppets, then Ultraman, then Sonic beat out Avatar, and then there's Puzzle and Dragons, in case you forgot about that, then Madden, Fate, Halo, Ice Age, Genshin Impact, Shrek. That's right, Genshin Impact is bigger than Shrek. Phantom of the Opera, My Little Pony, Scooby-Doo, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Mamma Mia, Mortal Kombat. The idea that Mamma Mia is somehow more culturally relevant, more merchandise than Mortal Kombat is fucking hilarious to me. I love it. And you know what? Both of them beat Gundam. And then, just for insult to injury, you got The Sims, Bob the Builder, and Maple Story of all things. And you know what Maple Story beat? That's right, The Simpsons. The Simpsons is nestled right in between Maple Story and Assassin's Creed. And all of those beat out Mission Impossible, which is followed by Beyblade, The Big Bang Theory, Seinfeld, and then Minecraft. There's Minecraft, chat. A $4.32 billion franchise that still is not as successful as a sitcom about nothing from 1989. Yeah, 25% of that is just the Minecraft movie. Where's Friends? Is Friends on there? Okay, first, let me post this link. I'll post this in Discord too, because this shit is fascinating. I love this stuff. We can keep going until we find Friends. Because after Minecraft, you have Twilight, and then Gran Turismo, Strawberry Shortcake. There's the Smurfs. The Smurfs are in good company here between Strawberry Shortcake and the Cabbage Patch Kids. Both of those are ahead of G.I. Joe, which is ahead of The Hunger Games, which shares company with Blue's Clues, Beauty and the Beast, Skylanders, Titanic. Yeah, the movie. I think that really says something, though. I think Titanic in particular is very interesting. That just one movie, one single movie from 1997 is up here with franchises that have been kicking around for like multiple decades. I think that actually speaks volumes about the impact that Titanic had. Bluey is still really, really, really new. A lot of these are just, a lot of these have had a lot of time for their merchandising to really like seep through the culture. I mean, remember, Pokemon's been around for over 2 decades at this point. They've had 2 decades to market that fucking electric rat all over the world, you know? Titanic was absolutely massive when it came out, but it was just that. It was just that. Anyway, after Titanic is Titanfall. Cast your mind back to when we played through Titanfall, and then remember that it's sharing space on this list with Titanic. And then after that is Bratz. And then the Fengshen Cinematic Universe, which I am not at all familiar with. Care Bears, Hamtaro. Hamtaro beat out Terminator, chat. Hamtaro is bigger than Terminator. Then we got Astro Boy, Thor, Zootopia on its own. Sitting here between Thor and Iron Man. Guardians of the Galaxy, Inside Out. Then there's the Elder Scrolls. Right ahead of Godzilla. Which are both ahead of Indiana Jones. Which is all ahead of Madagascar. Followed by Captain America, Kung Fu Panda, Winx Club, The Powerpuff Girls, and there's Friends, chat. Friends, ironically, is nestled right in between The Powerpuff Girls and Sailor Moon at $2.5 billion. This is, I know, it's literally a Hildy block, isn't it? It's like, here's the section of the list that is for you. Those are about friendship too, bro. Yeah, Basically, if you make a series about friendship, it's gonna land you in like 2 to 3 billion range. Captain America, Kung Fu Panda, Fuck Wings, Powerpuff Girls, Friends, Sailor Moon. You know, there's a whole Titanic cultural phase, and cash in. There were some really offensive Italian animated movies about the Titanic. Sets to like a Disney. I did not know that, Arcane. That's really interesting. Wonder where Zootopia will be now that the sequels come out. Corey, the article is listed current as of this January. Okay, so yeah, Zootopia might move around because of that. I don't know how big of a deal that was, but yeah. We're well past Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty was way up here. Hello Kitty was where? Hello Kitty is bigger than Call of Duty. Hello Kitty is a $33.5 billion franchise. Call of Duty is only pulling in a paltry 31 billion. Yes! I mean, Hello Kitty is a whole constellation of characters and mascots and properties and merchandise and theme parks and licensing agreements. Hello Kitty's fucking huge. Hello Kitty is basically like the Japanese merchandising elemental, or would be if they didn't have Anpanman. Anpanman is the one true Japanese mascot, as it turns out. Can't sell Call of Duty toys out. That's the thing. Call of Duty is a huge video game franchise, but it is not actually merchandised much outside of that. And I'm sure Activision is just kicking themselves over that. But still, again, though, you have to look at this from different perspectives. The fact that Call of Duty is like, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Call of Duty is the 10th biggest franchise on Earth just off the strength of its video games. Kind of a big deal. I mean, that's something of a star in their crown. Call of Duty is the highest video game franchise on this list. So, yeah, software as a service. Time we're spending here is a condemnation of how boring the actual magazine is. No, it totally is. This issue kind of fucking sucks. Kind of fucking sucks. Anyway, now that I've been called out on that, I will leave you all to explore the rest of this list in your own time. I shall now return to the magazine because there is a non-zero chance we could actually finish this crappy issue tonight if we can just kind of skate past all the shitty games like the Smurfs, despite it being part of a $1 billion franchise. Pokemon isn't a video game franchise. Pokemon is, I think at this point, not even primarily driven by its video games. I think it's primarily driven by its TV shows, its films, and its toys. Whereas Call of Duty basically only has its games to build off of. Only 2 billion, irrelevant franchise, I fear. Leave the video for the first of the Titanic cartoon movies. There's a rapping... Okay, I've got it. Arcane, just in case, throw that in Discord as well. Throw it in our movie channel so I can check it out later. Because I would really like to. Anyway, I'm going to skip over all this. We have played Smurfs games before. This looks very much like a port of something that I played before, and I just do not give a shit. I really, really don't. Kumanon is bigger than Aladdin. That list is crazy, man. Like, that list is absolutely crazy. Again, I guarantee you will go into that list with preconceived notions about what are huge franchises, and it'll be beaten out by just the most random shit. Like, we really don't... I think is the average consumer just really has no concept of what is and is not a big franchise, because we all kind of live in our own little media bubbles. Like, we pay attention to the things that interest us, and naturally those things are going to occur to us as being bigger than we would have thought. But there's always stuff outside of our orbit that's going to eclipse that hugely. So something about American economic fluctuation, Japanese fluctuation. You're also looking at expendable income in various decades. Amazing how much the market of franchise is solely determined by a small island nation in America. Yeah, very much so. Very much so. China contributes, but they don't originate. Well, yeah, honestly, I think that's due to a lot of cultural barriers that we and other countries throw up, and just some good old-fashioned racism. China just doesn't get invited to the party a lot of the time. And it goes both ways too. China has also been a closed system for a lot. Like I said, Dungeon and Fighter is way up the hell up that list, because it was one of the first foreign online games to be allowed in the Chinese market, and it blew up specifically because of that. They didn't let in World of Warcraft right away. They didn't let in EverQuest or Call of Duty or any of these other games. They let in Dungeon Fighter, and it took everything over. And straight up, like, it is Nexon's cash cow. It is the reason Nexon is as big as and as relevant as it is because Dungeon Fighter was allowed into China. I really cannot stress how much of Nexon's revenue is predicated on that one simple fact. Dungeon Fighter was basically an invasive species. China's isolated, and also there are major issues creating art in China because it's so damn heavily monitored by the government. That's why most of the Chinese films we get in the West come from Hong Kong. Yeah, it goes both ways, really. It goes both ways. Like, China is a very difficult market to create things for, but the rest of the world is also resistant to allowing Chinese creations into their markets. And a lot of that is just, again, good old-fashioned racism. Anyway, enough of the Smurfs. Let's talk about the Counselor's Corner. DKC2. How can I control... You're an idiot. The balloon is not that complicated. How do I open the crocodile core? Oh my god, they wrote this in fucking Cranky Kong's voice. That's so... whatever. Breath of Fire 2. I'm not going to read over the Breath of Fire 2 stuff because this is on our short list to get a full playthrough. I apologize. I have to apologize to anybody who's been waiting patiently for Breath of Fire 2. I really do want to play this game. I was actually hoping to do it like either this month or next month, but because of my schedule shift, I can't. I can't reasonably start a big RPG when I'm basically gonna have to give up streaming in the evenings by the end of the month, so I do apologize, chat. I was personally looking forward to this, so. Yoshi's Island. Can I return to previous world? Yeah, you just hit the tabs at the top, genius. I used to ring in World 7 too. I get pet Fuzzies. You just touch them. You get dizzy. It's fine. You'll be fine. Link's Awakening. How to get the key from the Dodongo snakes. How to defeat Evil Eagle in level 7. He's not even that hard. I feel like a lot of people had trouble with Link's Awakening for not very good reasons. And then Fast Facts for Secret of the Stars, Dragon View, and Donkey Kong Land. Cool. All right, we made it now playing. Chat, we can finish this issue tonight. We can finish this issue. We can move on with our lives. We do have 40 minutes left in the night, and the only thing we really need to get through is now playing. So don't let me stop you from requesting anything that you really want to see again. We do have the time for it, okay? I'm just gonna say that. But we will do... I'm gonna do our customary gloss over on this, because frankly, like, the now playing blurbs are just not that interesting. Okay, Mizroy, for you, I will read their blurb about Cutthroat Island. This game is trash. This game is really, really shitty. But we'll see what they have to say about it. It's from Acclaim, 16 megabits. You don't need a hoist to Jolly Roger to experience swashbuckling action these days. You just need a Super NES. Players relive the days of pirates and daring do with Acclaim's Cutthroat Island for the Super NES. The side-scrolling game follows the exploits of Morgan, Adams, and Shaw as they flee from the governor of Jamaica and hunt for the fabled treasure of Cutthroat Island. Playing as either Morgan or Shaw, players wield their sabers and duels that require quick blade and acrobatic moves. Fancy footwork can carry you forward, backward, and up and down on the screen, providing something of a 3D playfield. Also, Morgan and Shaw can brawl instead of using their fencing skills, but this alternative isn't as much fun. The action takes the escaping buccaneers through a range of settings, some of which require different skills to navigate. The roller coaster ride in the quarry, for instance, requires you to memorize the obstacles lying ahead in the path, but most stages pit our heroes against an almost endless stream of fighters. Some of them swing swords while others attack with guns or fists. Power-ups are found along the way and may help your chances for success. You also have to search for hidden rooms. In addition to all this, players can enter a treasure hunt contest sponsored by Acclaim. The winner will go on a real treasure hunt adventure in the Florida Keys. All this may seem very exciting, but the game doesn't deliver the intensity you might expect. The emphasis on continuous swordplay may make for tedious gameplay. Before you walk the plank, check out the Power Review this month. This is my main problem with how they write the Now Playings now. It's basically just a recap of what they say in their coverage, which is just like what's included in the game and what kind of gameplay you're gonna have to focus on. There's very, very, very little evaluation of the game's actual quality. Like, you know, they gave Cutthroat Island this entire first page and didn't actually say anything about the quality of it until the last 3 sentences. And one of those sentences is just, oh, check out our Power Review this month, which is also not going to fill you in on how good the actual game is. On the positives, good theme, 2-player cooperative action, some cool fencing moves, treasure hunt contest, and challenging. On the negatives, flat graphics, some of the stages are tedious, repetitious action, and simple enemy AI. So, doesn't sound like they're real positive on it. Cutthroat Island for Game Boy. Not exact replica, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. Simplicity of the AI doesn't provide much challenge. The game also suffers from ragged graphics and lack of any Super Game Boy enhancements. Can't be not Super Game Boying in the Super Game Boy era. Play control also comes down the slow side. Once you have the timing down, you can have some pretty good deals. Bystanders may attack you with explosives. Fun theme, introduction, new moves in the game, no Super Game Boy enhanced features, slow play control, no password. Blip, 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 blip. We got Erika Ishii for Neza too. I worked with her. I actually gave her one of her first voice acting gigs on MapleStory 2. She was gonna be our event narrator for that game. And unfortunately, MapleStory 2 died. But we got her for a couple other games that we worked on. I'm pretty sure she's in MapleStory 1. Pretty sure. Screen grab looks for the Smurfs. It really does, yeah. It really, really does. I'm jealous. Yeah, she's fantastic. She's super cool. I got to work with a bunch of people before they got like really, really big. I worked with Joe Zija before he got work on Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is where he really blew up. And he was cool enough that even after that, after he got really big off of working for Nintendo, he would still work with us on new games. He's a super cool guy. Neza 2 is the Feng Shen universe. Okay, I'm totally out on Feng Shen universe. I don't even know what that is. Based on Investiture of the Gods. 16th century Chinese book. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. Erica's good people. They, I think. Another Blueprints fan? Yeah. Yeah, she's, they're super cool. Super, super cool. Actually, it was really funny because, she is God damn it, I can't do it. I'm trying. I apologize. Erica, if you ever watch this, I apologize. Old man brain afflicting. They are actually a friend of a girl I used to date in college, who I haven't seen in a really, really, really long time. But yeah, I actually brought that up when we worked together. I was like, oh, say hey to her for me. Okay. But it's funny the people you... And weirdest goddamn thing. So yeah, this girl I dated in college ended up being friends with Erika Ishii, who I worked with decades later. And then at my first game job, I worked with a producer who dated the sister of the same girl I dated in college. And keep in mind, me and this girl I dated, we were out in North Carolina. We were on the other side of the country from all these other people. But yeah, it is as it turns out, a much smaller world than anybody thought. Ishii doesn't owe me shit. She is more than talented enough to stand on her own. If I hadn't given her that MapleStory 2 job, somebody else would have picked her up. So yeah. Sorry. Yes. God. Jesus. I'm so bad at this. I apologize. I am so bad at this. Thank you. Thank you. They are talented enough. They didn't need me giving them a leg up. Yes. Okay. Fuck. Let's just talk about hockey. NHL 96. Last Game Boy title from EA Sports and Black Pearl looked good. Moved at the speed of a glacier. NHL 96 skates along far more realistic speeds. Has less detail in the graphics. Good trade-off though. Shooting, passing, switching all work pretty much the same. NHL license, lots of game modes, quick action, limited close-up view of the rink. Speaking of queerness, hockey. The Smurfs! Cuteness rules in the Smurfacious debut for Game Boy. Pretty easy. If you love Smurfs or know someone who's a Smurfaholic, if you know someone who's a Smurfaholic, get them help. Talk to somebody. English academic writing, hammering a he or she into you rather than they. It's just, again, it's old man brain. It really is. I have tried as a streamer, I've tried to be much more careful, and in particular default to they. Like when I talk about community members, I tend to default to they. That's something I've managed to ingrain in my brain. But I think my difficulty here is I met Erica a very long time ago. And they were still going by she at the time, so that's how I remember them. So it makes it a bit harder for me because I'm old, Chad. I am aging too fast, and I want to keep up. I want to do things the right way. It's just difficult. My brain doesn't want to keep up. Old man brain is real. It really, really is. But yeah. Oh my god, it's a Virtual Boy recap chat. Oh my god. Chat, this is it. Chat, this is it. This is all they got this month. 1 Super Nintendo game, 3 Game Boy games, and a Virtual Boy game. That's all they have. No wonder this issue sucks shit. This is brutal, man. I don't think I really realized as a kid. Well, there's no way for me to have realized. I didn't have access to the information. But we live here in the future. So we know now that the long delays of the N64 just severely fucked up Nintendo's marketing efforts. Like, hard. No wonder they give full 2 pages of possible vaporware? Yeah. Man. Anyway, regarding the Smurfs, nice big character graphics, good use of Super Game Boy enhancements, but not too challenging. And then 3D Tetris. They have nothing interesting to say in the actual text of this. Automatically saves puzzle mode and all high scores can adjust settings, very challenging. Negatives. Players won't find it easy to spend the hours they spent on the original Tetris. Interesting. Interesting. This almost feels like an indictment of the Virtual Boy itself rather than the game. Because there's nothing in the nature of the game that would prevent people from just whiling away hours on it. Did we play Virtua Golf? I counter your question with another question. Does it matter? If you want to see it, you can see it. We have a full half hour left in the evening. And nothing to do with... Nope. 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 How many of these... This might be it, chat. This might actually be it. This might be the end of the Virtual Boy as we know it. I haven't forged ahead like I said I was going to see if the Virtual Boy gets additional coverage in future issues. But it feels like they might just be doing one last roundup of Virtual Boy games and just not posing it as such. Virtual Boy burst on the scene last August with amazing graphic capabilities and a disappointingly small library of titles. Now a dozen titles have been released, and the games range from sports titles such as golf and Virtual League, baseball, to full adventures such as Wario Land. This month, Power recaps all Virtual Boy titles released to date. Hang on a second. I'm gonna recap how many games they actually had. The Americas got 14 releases. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's everything. That's it. That's it. That's all we got. Yeah, we actually have some... I forgot about the Nesters. We actually have something to talk about after this. System can never be popular without an Ampaman title. Okay! The Virtual Boy is dead, chat. The Virtual Boy is officially dead. We have Galactic Pinball, Golf, Jack Bros, Mario Clash, Mario's Tennis, Nestor's Funky Bowling, Panic Bomber, Red Alarm, Tellero Boxer, 3D Tetris, Vertical Force, Virtual Boy Wario Land, Virtual League Baseball, and Waterworld. I am pretty sure I have played all of these on this channel at this point. That's it. That's it. Okay. We absolutely saw Waterworld for the Virtual Boy. We absolutely did. Shut up, Arcade! I'll put you in a box and never open it. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Before anybody gets smart with this, I'm closing requests. Here's what I'm gonna do, chat. Here's what I'm gonna do. Sometime in the month of May, we are going to do the Virtual Boy Odyssey I have promised you. Now that the system is dead, now that there is nothing more to look forward to, we're gonna spend one night. We're gonna round up the Virtual Boy games from other regions, because there were a total of 22 Virtual Boy games, meaning there were 8 games that were not released here. We're gonna check those out, and then whatever time we have left, we're gonna check out ROM hacks. Because for some fucking reason, there is a healthy community of Virtual Boy ROM hacks. And I have a bunch of them. I actually have more ROM hacks than official licensed Virtual Boy games. And we're not gonna do it on the 27th because Hildy called it. What day is the 27th, actually? That's a Wednesday. There's basically no chance of that happening, so you're safe. Wasn't there an Innsmouth virtual novel on Virtual Boy? I believe so, yes. I believe so. So, yeah. Mario Clash was sort of palatable. Mario Clash is not bad. It's just disappointing. I think the least offensive Virtual Boy games are just disappointing. Like Wario Land on Virtual Boy Wario Land is not a bad game. It is just severely hamstrung by being on the Virtual Boy. It would be a decent enough platformer if it was on any other system. But because it's on the Virtual Boy, it just sucks to play. Yeah, the worst part of Virtual Boy games is that they're on the Virtual Boy. Like, some of these are straight ass. Like, Waterworld is ass. Waterworld is a terrible, terrible game. But like, you know, like Tellerboxer? Tellerboxer seems like pretty... It's basically Punch-Out. It's Punch-Out with arguably better controls. But because it's on the Virtual Boy, you're trapped. You're stuck. So yeah. We will, possibly as soon as next week, we will go ahead and put a pin in the Virtual Boy. We'll go ahead and round up the rest of those. I wish, chat, I'm so sorry about this. I wish I could say that that was going to segue into our next Game System Odyssey, but because of my schedule change, it cannot. The only assurance I can give you, and I will repeat this from time to time, I am not going to spend the rest of my life doing night shifts. This is a temporary affliction. I need to do it in the short term for the sake of what passes for my career. But I do not intend to be working nights for the rest of my life. I don't think I can. I don't think I could really manage that mentally, so. Like all things, I blame late stage capitalism. So do I. So do I. So we will, yeah. The game system odysseys are something that we will come back to, but it's gonna have to be set aside for the future. A lot of things are gonna have to be set aside for the future, but the trade-off is that we're gonna be able to try new things during the day. My daytime streams are gonna be different from what we've been doing. I'm not just gonna transplant the themes and gimmicks that I have from the evenings into the day. This is gonna be something of a fresh start, because I may end up with a new audience by doing this. So, and just as further assurance, I'm not ending night streams entirely. I'm going to have Wednesdays and Thursdays off, and I will still be streaming on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays are going to be variety nights, and the power hours will continue on Thursdays. They'll just be once a week. Imagine daytime stream watchers would be less deranged. I mean, they're going to be Europeans, so like, really? Anyway, let's talk about the Nintendo Power 1995 awards. Oh boy, oh boy. Grateful because I don't think I make day streams. I know. I don't expect anybody here to make it to the daytime streams, and I feel bad about that. I really do. I really do. Continuing what evening streams I can is not a concession. It is my assurance to you that I am never going to give up on y'all. Okay? I am never going to stop doing evening streams. I love doing them. I love the community that we built here. I would not give it up for anything. So, despite the needs of the business, I will continue them in the limited capacity that I can. You're our Maple Story 2, buddy. But yeah, I am going to start daytime streaming, and I'm going to take it in a different direction. Because I see this as an opportunity to perhaps build a different audience around a different selection of games and content, one that I'm more personally interested in doing. Not that what I do in the evenings I'm not interested in doing. I wouldn't have done it for 7 years if I wasn't interested in it. But I know a lot more about streaming now than I did when I started. So this is a unique opportunity for a fresher start. Yep, builders and factory stuff. That's what we're starting with. Spoiler alert. This Satisfactory playthrough that I'm starting on Sundays, I'm going to transition straight into that for daytime streams. Satisfactory will continue during the days. That's going to be the first big thing that I do. Maybe even audiences less adversarial. You need to make excuses for not watching all your shit live when you change early streaming. Yeah, sorry, Ballwork. Sorry to put that on you, but all right, let's talk about this shit. They do this every year. Get out a pen and paper. Take some notes, because what we're gonna do, I want to stream a Satisfactory day and try to keep in line with you. Love Satisfactory, can't wait. That would be cool, honestly. That'd be pretty cool to do parallel Satisfactorying and see where we end up. I would totally be down for that. Anyway, our tradition with the Nintendo Power Awards. Yeah, totally. Let's talk about that. That'd be super cool. Our tradition for the Nintendo Power Awards. For every category, we talk about two things. We talk about what we think should win, and we talk about what we think is going to win. Because obviously, us, most of us being middle-aged nerds in the hellscape that is 2026, have a very different perspective on these games than the gormless idiot children doing the voting back in 1996. So I feel like this discussion has two components to it. First of all, what do you think deserves to win? Second of all, what do you reasonably think those said gormless idiot children are going to select as the winner? Oh shit, it's a skeleton from Mind-Boggling Effects. All right, best sound. Best sound of 1995. We got Donkey Kong Country 2, Chrono Trigger, Killer Instinct, Earthworm Jim 2, Syndicate, and The Adventures of Batman and Robin. Me personally, I'm gonna say Chrono Trigger. Think they'll pick Earthworm Jim 2. For me, I think it's a toss-up between DKC2 and Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct does have solid sound design. And Donkey Kong Country 2 has an excellent soundtrack, if nothing else. I want Chrono Trigger to win. I think personally, I think DKC2 is going to win. But I would love to be pleasantly surprised on this one. Best graphics. Toy Story, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, Donkey Kong Country 2, Earthworm Jim 2, Batman Forever, Wario Land on the Virtual Boy. And Killer Instinct. All right. Hands down, no question, Yoshi's Island should win this. Toy Story did basically full 2 3D. Toy Story did like Donkey Kong Country, the pre-rendered. It rendered its 3D models in 2D. Toy Story is an impressive looking game. I won't deny it that. But for my money, like I will straight be pissed off if anything other than Yoshi's Island wins. Once again, I think it's either going to be DKC2 or Killer Instinct. This one, I think probably Killer Instinct. I think Nintendo Power made so much hay about the graphical fidelity of Killer Instinct. I also think a lot of the idiot kids that are going to be voting on this are going to be conflating what they see in the arcades with the home version. Best story. Chat, it's Scooby-Doo, man. Like the film Scooby-Doos don't have the best story. Like, fucking come on. Fucking come on here. Scooby-Doo Syndicate Dragon the Bruce Lee story. I mean, it has story in the title, so it's gotta have a good story. Chrono Trigger and Earthbound. Okay. There are two very obvious answers here. And no, it's not Scooby-Doo. Shut the fuck up. I am not going to litigate between Chrono Trigger and Earthbound. I think this comes down to personal preference. Bro, rude. Scooby rude. My pick is Chrono Trigger. I grew up with Chrono Trigger. I actually, if we can be entirely honest about this, I don't actually love the story in Chrono Trigger. When we do eventually stream Chrono Trigger, I'm actually gonna have a bunch of nits to pick about the story. But from this lineup, Chrono Trigger would be my pick. And I fully admit that is nostalgia talking. So if you want to make the case for the case for Earthbound, I will not argue with you. I think that's perfectly legitimate. It's not my pick. But yeah. I agree on Chrono Trigger. I feel like Earthbound is the only other one. I mean, from this list, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Yeah, there's Chrono Trigger, there's Earthbound, and there's everything else. And between these two, I think it really just depends on what hits for you, you know? Earthbound is important for the indie scene. It's not as ambitious as Chrono Trigger. Well, I see what you're saying. I think if... Again, gormless idiot children voting on this are not going to be looking at it from this dimension. I think in terms of story, Earthbound is the ambitious one. I think in terms of like the game as a whole, what it offers as a video game experience, yes, Chrono Trigger is a much more ambitious game. Earthbound is, and I'm not trying to be mean here, Earthbound is a reskinned Dragon Quest. But it does a lot with that reskin. And as far as its story goes, it is the one that's doing the most with its story. It is the one that's really pushing the limits of video games as a narrative. That being said, Chrono Trigger is kind of the total package when it comes to modern RPGs of this era. And it has a more straightforward story that I think is more likely to resonate with the people voting on this. And myself, frankly. Yeah, Earthbound's not going to win. Ironically, Nintendo Power sabotaged Earthbound. So yeah, it is Chrono Trigger. It's just Chrono Trigger. My pick is Chrono Trigger. The magazine's pick is Chrono Trigger. It's Chrono Trigger. We're moving on. Best challenge. Best challenge is always a fuzzy one, because I can never tell if that means it's a fair challenge or if it's just really fucking hard. In Nintendo Power's own word, there are physical challenges and there are mental challenges. The following selection of worthy titles offers both kinds, often within the same game: Donkey Kong Country 2, Yoshi's Island, Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat 3, PTO 2, and Metal Warriors. Quite possibly the only list on this earth where you will ever see Killer Instinct and PTO 2 on the same list. And yes, the kids are going to pick Donkey Kong Country 2. The kids will pick DKC Country 2. I would pick Super Mario World 2. I would pick Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Island is hard. Yoshi's Island is challenging, but it's also challenging in a way where you can kind of pick your own challenge. If you don't want to go through for 100% on every level, you can, pretty much anybody can get through the game. World 6 is still going to get kind of hairy, but that's every Mario game for you. If you want to go for 100% on everything, that's a challenge. That is a legit challenge. And I am sorry if you love DKC 2, but I think it's a better balanced challenge than anything you're going to find in that game. I won't lie. DKC 2 pissed me off. I don't think the challenges in Donkey Kong Country 2 are well conceived. I don't think they're well balanced. I think it's an unreasonably hard game in places. So, fighting games, I mean, I'm not gonna give it a Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat games are historically assholes in their PvE modes. And Killer Instinct, I don't even know, man. And then PTO 2 and Metal Warriors, I mean, these are just not going to win based on being extremely niche games. Yeah, I think it's weird to pick a fighting game in this category as well. Isn't DKC 2 the greatest game of all time that could ever exist? That was DKC 1 too, but I think DKC 2 has kind of subsumed that position. It has inherited the mantle of greatest game of all time. I think 14-year-old Satellite would pick DKC 2 without hesitation. I'm pretty sure DKC 2 is going to win this one. But I think Yoshi's Island could win it, and I feel like I have a very eloquent argument for that. So, best play control. NHL 96, Mega Man X2, Super Mario World 2, Killer Instinct, Wario Land, Donkey Kong Country 2. Play control is kind of a weird one. I mean, I'm just gonna say Yoshi's Island. I'm a huge Yoshi's Island stan. I don't think Donkey Kong Country 2 has bad play control. It basically carries forward the play control of DKC 1, which is fine for what it is. If DKC 2 wins this category, I'm not gonna be mad. I'll vote Yoshi's Island for every category as eligible. That's kind of where I'm at, yeah. If we're talking about fidelity of platforming, I think that's their intent. Yeah, I feel like this one could go a lot of different ways. It's probably gonna go to DKC 2 again, but yeah. Mega Man X2, I would say could be a good thing, like a good candidate. I would say so too. I think it's just gonna be overshadowed here. So it certainly doesn't have. None of these games have bad play control. Yeah, there's a lot of solid choices. I don't think I'm gonna be up in arms about this one in particular. All right. Wow, this is long. I was not expecting this to be this long. Good thing I don't need to be up early tomorrow. Let me get the fuck out of the way here. Maybe I can just kind of sit here, I guess. All right, best epic game. Sims and hybrid games that combine RPG, adventure, and sim elements are gaining popularity in the US, while RPGs are gaining more depth and complexity. I presume this is anything that could show up in the Epic Center, which is why we have Chrono Trigger, Ogre Battle, Earthbound, Secret of Evermore, and Civilization up against each other. My pick's Chrono Trigger. I think the magazine's pick's gonna be Chrono Trigger. I mean, Chrono Trigger is just... Chrono Trigger is a landmark game. It really is. It's not my favorite RPG, but it's important. And extremely quality for what it is. Best tournament fighter. Mortal Kombat 3, Killer Instinct, Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, Weapon Lord, WWF WrestleMania, and Justice League Task Force. Okay. Okay. MK3 is really good. I have to wonder if Nintendo Power has biased their readers towards Killer Instinct, though. Like, I'm sure it's going to be one of those two. I'm sure it's going to be MK3 or Killer Instinct. You think Killer Instinct will win? I kind of do, too. I kind of do, too. WrestleMania was fun. Weapon Lord was really good. My personal pick would be Weapon Lord. I really, really liked Weapon Lord. I was shocked at how much fun I was having with that game. What game is the song from? It sounds pretty neat. This is from Bahamut Lagoon. Maybe someday we'll play that, chat. No problem. But yeah, again, pretty solid options here. Dragon kind of sucks. Justice League Task Force kind of sucks. But I mean, MK3 is an all-timer. Killer Instinct is a very important game. Weapon Lord's a personal favorite. And WrestleMania was surprisingly fun, so yeah. All right, best sports game. Who cares? NHL 96, Tecmo Super Bowl 3, the final edition, International Superstar Soccer Deluxe, NFL Quarterback Club, Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball, and Golf on the Virtual Boy. I don't fucking know. Most of these we didn't play, and I don't even care. I'm just gonna arbitrarily guess Tecmo Super Bowl 3. It has name recognition. Virtual Boy Golf 100%. All other choices are nothing. Can Aj's love of golf overcome his disgust for Virtual Boy? Spoiler alert, no way in hell. Best puzzle game. Developers have been trying for years to come up with the next Tetris. Do you think there are any this year that could challenge the king of the puzzlers? No. Bust a Move, Curvy, Avalanche, Zoop, Mario's Picross, and Tetris Blast. Well, you know what I'm gonna pick. You know what I'm gonna say. The question is, what are the idiot children thinking? Zoop, I think, was probably the most original, having finally been exposed, but I think Reeves will pick Bust a Move or Kirby. Yeah, I'm a Picross addict. I am a straight up Picross addict. I don't think Picross is not going to win. Tetris Blast is not going to win. I don't think. I don't think Zoop's going to win. I think Zoop is a little too niche. I feel like maybe Kirby's Avalanche is going to take it through the combination of brand recognition And it's Puyo Puyo. And Puyo Puyo is very good. Best multiplayer game. Tecmo Super Bowl 3, Killer Instinct, Dirt Tracks, FX. Metal Warriors being on here is insane. It does have a very good multiplayer mode. NHL 96 and Mortal Kombat 3. I mean, this is basically just best tournament fighter again. It's either KI or MK3. Like, what the hell else are people playing multiplayer on their systems than that? Kids will KI, but Metal Warriors. I'm not even sure I would pick Metal Warriors. I feel like I have to concede this one to the fighting game. I mean, fighting games are meant to be multiplayer. They're entirely built around being multiplayer. Puyo Puyo, what we know today is Dr. Robotnik's Bean Bean Machine. Most innovative game. This one always makes me mad. This one always pisses me the fuck off. In an era of been there, done that gameplay, some developers continue to push the creative envelope beyond its previous limits and change the way we have fun. Yoshi's Island, Earthbound, Ogre Battle, The Ignition Factor, Kirby's Dream Course. Okay, so... This is really down to how you define it yourself. I mean, Yoshi's Island is one of the most unique platformers to date, right? Earthbound is one of the most unique takes on traditional RPG mechanics to date. Ogre Battle is unlike anything that anyone has seen out here. It is wholly unique. Ignition Factor, similarly, is a top-down action/adventure game where you are a firefighter. And it has an absolutely batshit insane localization, which may not be innovative, but it's certainly unique. And then Kirby's Dream Course is a very unique mashup of golf and puzzling with some pinball elements in there. I mean, this is the ultimate you do you category. I think actually for once I am not gonna get mad at this one. I think there's a pretty strong case to be made for all of these. Maybe not Ignition Factor, but Ignition Factor's not gonna win anyway. Yeah, everything else is possible. I have no idea what they're gonna pick for this. If you put a gun to my head, I would say the kids are gonna pick Yoshi's Island just off name recognition. Me personally, I don't fucking know. Like, there are 3 hugely influential games on this list. Even with the benefit of hindsight, I can't call this one. I really can't. My jaw dropped when we tried to rescue a fire victim and they just cold clocked us to the floor. Yeah, that Ignition Factor is insane. Yeah. I agree. The kids are going to check the box that says Yoshi, but in my own analysis, I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know. I want to say Yoshi's Island just because I love it so much. I feel like... God damn, like... I feel like Ogre Battle is the correct answer here, but we know the influence that Earthbound had. Ogre Battle is by far the most unique game on this list, but Earthbound had way more influence than it did. Really just impossible to call, chat. All right. Next one is best game based on a movie. Making a game out of a movie is no small task, and there's often something lost in the translation. Judge Dredd, True Lies, Adam Sandler Values, Stargate, and Toy Story. My pick is obvious here. Adam's Family Values, I've actually gone back to play that shit. I won't argue that with you. Adam's Family Values is a cool game. My pick is True Lies. I don't know why True Lies was so dang good, but I genuinely love that game. Like, True Lies fucking own. It was great. It was really, really great. Once again, I don't know what they're gonna pick. I don't know what the magazine pick is gonna be. I really don't. I can't call this. Judge Dredd and Stargate kind of suck. Toy Story really sucks. Which is unfortunate because Toy Story probably has the biggest name recognition out of all of these, but it's also the worst game on this list. The only way to be salty with is Toy Story. It's not nearly as good as the other. Yeah, definitely not as good as the other four. I think they might pick Adam's Family Values. It's kind of the most playable out of all of these, in a way. All right, here's one. The Owie Award. It's all just make-believe, but you know it's gotta hurt. With the rating system in place, more action games are being aimed at mature players. Tell us which is the best or worst of the lot. I think this is technically a goriest game category. Doom, Mortal Kombat 3, Primal Rage, Mutant Chronicles, Killer Instinct, True Lies. I'm pretty sure it's MK3. I get where you're coming from, Hildy, but the SNES port of Doom is ass. It is so bad. I wouldn't even pick Doom here. My personal pick is Mortal Kombat 3. I think the magazine is going to pick Mortal Kombat 3. I think it's Mortal Kombat 3 all the way down. Like, Mortal Kombat is simply the poster child for edgy video game gore. So, yeah. After two very difficult questions, that one kind of answers itself. Oh my god, they just keep... Oh my god, they just keep going, chat. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, I don't want to be up until, like, 2 a.m. tonight, so... Yeah, we gotta go faster. All right, funniest. Here's a list of, in our humble opinion, some of the funniest titles of the year. Secret of Evermore, Earthworm Jim 2, Boogerman, Earthbound, The Mask, and Ah, Real Monsters. Okay, this is only between Secret of Evermore and Earthbound for me. And I would say Earthbound. I would say Earthbound. I fear the kids are gonna pick Earthworm Jim. But Earthbound is the obvious answer here. You think kids will pick Boogerman? God forbid. God forbid that piece of shit game win anything. Earthbound is definitely the funniest game on this list, yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna be fucking mad about this one. This has the potential to piss us off worse than anything else in this. Best hero or heroine? Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, Yoshi, Earthworm Jim, Boogerman. It's either Diddy or Dixie. I mean, fuck, I would pick Diddy or Dixie. Yoshi's kind of a non-entity. Like, I don't actually love Yoshi. Yoshi's just kind of there. Gargamel. Diddy because girls don't play video games. You know what? I'm gonna go with Satellite on this. I'm gonna stand for Dixie on this. They're probably gonna pick Diddy, but yeah, I hope Dixie wins it just for representation. Best goodie or sidekick? The unsung heroes of the video game world. Cranky Kong from DKC2, Rush from Mega Man 7, Snot from Earthworm Jim 2, Squitter the Spider from DKC2, and Milo the Dog from Mask. I think Rush actually has a decent chance of winning this one. Yeah. I don't think Cranky. I think people fucking hate Cranky, and they're not gonna pick a spider. I think Rush might actually be the most recognizable after a straight almost decade of Mega Man cultural awareness. Worst villain. Captain K. Rool, Major Mucus, Idol, Shao Kahn, and Pokey. I think K. Rool, maybe. You think Shao Kahn? Pokey is literal worst. If the kids only knew. If the kids would actually finish Earthbound, they would understand. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably down to K. Rool or Shao Kahn on this one. Other cartoon villains, Pokey is a punchable smug asshole. Pokey is properly built up too, and has such a tangible presence in the endgame. You just love to hate that fuck. Hard for me to vote Pokey because I didn't recognize him by name, even though I watched the whole damn game. He definitely makes himself known near the end. But anyway, worst baddie. Hundreds of video game bad guys out there in all shapes, sizes, and species. Mock-up from Yoshi's Island. I couldn't tell you who that was if you put a gun to my head. Juggler from Chrono Trigger. I actually don't remember that one either. Grim Leecher from Yoshi's Island. No idea. Grannies from Earthworm Jim. Oh, I think the Grim Leecher is the guy who replaces Baby Mario. Grannies from Earthworm Jim 2 and Kaboom from DKC 2. Does anybody even know enough about this to say? I'm not sure they do. There is a replacer enemy. There's a little cartoony Grim Reaper looking dude that'll knock Baby Mario off and sit on Yoshi's back until you shake him off, maybe? I think Juggler will be picked because of Chrono Trigger. I'm gonna say either Juggler or Kaboom is gonna be their pick. Me personally, I don't give a fuck. I don't think any of these are good options. Coolest transportation, Yoshi from Yoshi's Island. The Epoch Time Machine from Chrono Trigger. The Batmobile from Obvious. The Dactyls from Chrono Trigger. The UFO from Earthbound. And Tessie from Earthbound. That's pretty funny. Chrono Trigger and Earthbound both get to double up on these. I love the Epoch. I'm just gonna say the Epoch. I can't give it to either of the Earthbound ones because you don't actually control them. I'm sorry, I don't. I think there's a decent chance the Epoch wins. I think there's also a decent chance Yoshi wins. Gray Kaboom can steal your reserve lives. Horrid. That is horrid. Jesus. Coolest weapon or item. The Holy Fry Pan from Earthbound, Candy Beans from Boogerman, Bubble Gun from Earthworm Jim 2, the Chainsaw from Doom, and the Mallet from The Mask. I think the Chainsaw might take this, honestly. Yeah, the kids love chainsaws. Everybody loves chainsaws. They're groovy. Yeah, let's all just chat full of kids. Yeah, we're all kids at heart when it comes to chainsaws. Let's just say chainsaw and move on. Coolest move: Dixie's helicopter spin, the flame fart from Boogerman, Squitter's platform web from DKC2, Fulgore's mech head danger move from KI, and Donkey Kong's overhead slam from Mario's Tennis. Dixie's helicopter. It's insanely useful. It looks good. It's from Donkey Kong Country 2, the greatest game of all time. This one's an easy one. It's easy. It's easy for me, and I don't even like that game. Dixie wins. Next. Weird how Boogerman has such amazing cultural reach. I hate every word that you just said there. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. Best ending. Chrono Trigger, Donkey Kong Country 2, Killer Instincts, Yoshi's Island, Secret of Evermore, more. It's Chrono Trigger! Are you stupid? It's Chrono Trigger! Christ! I resent no ending for Earthbound here because killing that fuck is really satisfying. That is a really weird oversight though. Earthbound has one of the most unique endings like ever. And it's kind of mildly offensive that Earthbound isn't on here. But I mean, it's Chrono Trigger, man. It's Chrono Trigger. Even discounting the fact that game has like 15 endings, whatever ending you get is gonna be super fucking cool and really well thought out. This is a category where we all get mad when DKC2 beats Chrono Trigger. I will not be able to handle that. If anything other than Chrono Trigger wins this one, I'm not sure I can handle this. So let's just put that aside and move on for now. Coolest code or trick? Cooler stuff code from MK3, Street Fighter Mega Man from Mega Man 7, hidden players and play options from NBA Jam, one-hit fatalities from Primal Rage, or loony offense and defense from Looney Tunes B-Ball. I'm gonna say probably NBA Jam. Because I know NBA Jam just has like a fucking insane number of hidden characters and features and stuff in that. Really. Really, really. Based on the sheer number of code break... They've done multiple code breakdowns in Nintendo Power for NBA Jam Tournament Edition. You can play as mascots. You can play as fucking Bill Clinton. You can play as Parliament Funkadelic. Like, it's insane. I know MK3 lets you do a lot of cool stuff, but like, the NBA Jam stuff is just over the top. Personally, I think they're gonna pick NBA Jam. Just because, I remember like all the NBA Jam secrets and stuff being a big thing at the time. Like, I remember kids talking about the codes and the unlocks for the different like secret teams and stuff. I remember people unlocking them in the arcades. The MK3 stuff is cool, but I really feel like the NBA Jam stuff was bigger. That's my memory of it anyway. Most annoying feature. I know which one wins this. I don't agree with it, but I know which one wins this one. Crybaby Mario and then everything else. I don't agree with it. I will forever and always believe that everyone's just making a big deal out of nothing over this. But it's Crybaby Mario. There's Hold On from Batman Forever. Where's the Background from Waterworld? Oh my god. They actually called out the fact that Waterworld on Virtual Boy has no background. Die Robots Die from MechWarrior and Nest Phone Home from Earthbound. Like, that's not even that annoying. It's a weird conceit, but it's not that annoying. Alright, now we get to the best system games. Best Game Boy game. Defender, Joust, NBA Jam, Donkey Kong Land, Kirby's Dream Land 2, Frank Thomas, Big Hurt Baseball. I pick Kirby's Dream Land 2. It's gonna be Donkey Kong Land. I think that's pretty straightforward. I want Kirby to win this. Kirby deserves to win this. Donkey Kong Land's gonna win this. They did do a lot with the Game Boy limitations. I will not deny that. I won't deny that. I just, as a game, I don't enjoy it that much, is all. Best Virtual Boy game. Wario Land, Golf, Teller Boxer, Red Alarm, Mario's Tennis. I pick Wario Land. It's the most, to me, the most playable game on this benighted system. I think the award might go to Teller Boxer. I think it might go to Teller Boxer or maybe Mario's Tennis. But I think Teller Boxer wins. My pick is Wario Land. I don't actually think it's going to win. And then the best Super NES game. Donkey Kong Country 2, Yoshi's Island, NHL 96, Mortal Kombat 3, Chrono Trigger, Killer Instinct. You gotta admit, this is a hell of a lineup. I mean, you got a lot of people out with the benefit of hindsight, speaking from the future. A lot of people say DKC2 is their favorite. Yoshi's Island is one of the best, if not the best, Mario games out there. MK3 is an all-time great in the Mortal Kombat franchise. Chrono Trigger is an all-time great as far as JRPGs go. And some people will still swear by Killer Instinct given the legacy that game had. NHL 96, I'm not sure where that shit came from. But I think there are legitimate cases to be made for all of these. Except NHL 96. What the fuck, man? Why didn't you put Earthbound on here? Seriously, it's first party. Be selfish. Satellite 14-year-old Slam pick Chrono Trigger. Satellite 44-year-old picks Yoshi's Island with no reservations. If DKC2 takes it, I will accept and smile warmly. Yeah, this is another one of those where I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to be mad at any of these except NHL. I can see the cases for all of these. I'm willing to accept all of these. My pick's Yoshi's Island. I will, in fact, pick Yoshi's Island over Chrono Trigger. Won't accept MK3. That's fair. That's fair. '95 was a good year for games. Definitely. I mean, Christ, I remember that Christmas, I got Yoshi's Island Chrono Trigger. That was one of the best Christmases of my life. I got two of the best games on that system at the same time. And oh boy, splitting time between them was a dream come true. It was wonderful. All right, hopefully you've marked down all your picks, all your predictions. I think it's gonna be a couple months before we get the winners of these, at least 2, probably 3, possibly more. So keep those in mind, and then we will rage and rant when it comes back around. Oh, Kirby! Cover up Disney's Pocahontas because nobody gives a shit. All right, what's coming up? Power Pigs: The Dark Age. Who gives a fuck? Dastardly Wizard of Wolf. 3 fun-loving pigs, evil minions, swords, castles, a donut shop, plot to usurp the throne, all come together in Titus's wacky adventure game, Power Pigs: The Dark Age. Pleasantly surprised by what we saw. Doesn't star high-profile hero. Introduces 3 determined pigs, Gilbert, the master of invention, Lotta, champion with the crossbow, and Bruna, their noble leader and official donut taster. Donuts play a central role in the game because they're pigs, get it? Whatever, man. Alternate timeline when this existed, yeah. Unironically enjoyed 3 Little Pigs retelling. I bet it's out there. Disney's Pocahontas. This is gonna be ass. Interaction, cooperative puzzle solving are the keywords for the Game Boy version of Pocahontas. First area alone, Pocahontas helps a deer and a muskrat, not to mention giving a hand to her little friend Miko. Okay, whatever. Kirby's Block Ball is on the way. Reminiscent of Breakout. I have no memory of this game. We'll just have to see what that is when it comes out. Looks like Arkanoid, sort of. But with Kirby! Alright, let's skim through this for anything interesting. Super NES classics are being reprinted. At a discount price of $34.95. Link to the Past, Super Mario Kart, Castlevania 4, Tetris and Dr. Mario, Mario All-Stars, and Sim City. Nice. Pocahontas never came out. Good. Topps Publishing has licensed the rights for a Killer Instinct collectible card game. I forgot this existed. I wonder if that was any good. Disney drops the ball. Disappointment reigned on our parade here at Pack Watch. We learned from Disney Interactive that 2 of their Super NES games have been canceled and 1 delayed. Gargoyles fell victim to soggy sales predictions predicated upon the poor performance of Genesis Gargoyle. Genesis doomed Gargoyles, chat. Thanks for nothing, Sega. Disney Interactive execs failed to note that the Super NES currently dominates the entire video game market. Just, you know. Pocahontas also fell into the abyss. Partially due to concerns about sales, partially due to concerns about the quality of the game. We applaud Disney Interactive's commitment to quality and their refusal to release a product they don't feel makes the grade. Maui Mallard's delayed. Okay. Frantic Flea. They're not even that excited about it. Japanese game called Panel de Pon is on its way. College Slam for Game Boy. Toy Story on Game Boy. Yeah, whatever. Great. Genesis did so Nintendo won't. Oh my god, there's more shit. Hang on, let me put on some more music. Just because. We're still not done. Shouldn't have been so ambitious, chat. I know, why would you choose this picture? Why? Why? Alright, get a skim for interesting information. 64 disk drive, doesn't matter, won't exist. Part of the N64 performance impresses you the most. Something graceful and natural about the graphics and motion, using lots of polygons. But the most difficult part, limiting the cost. Other projects are in the works. Networking. How is it working with Silicon Graphics? Straight partners. Favorite game of all time. My favorite game probably was a game I made myself. In the 70s after college, you write code in machine language. One person created an entire game. Oh, he doesn't actually talk about what it is. What is the underlying philosophy or goal for the Nintendo 64? Nintendo's design philosophy is such that we believe it is the games that are important. That's why we work with game designers like Mr. Miyamoto on creating the Nintendo 64. All of these are just total non-answers. I just don't care about this. All right. Oh boy, chat. Next month, Shadows of the Empire, Kirby's Block Ball, Power Pigs of the Dark Ages, and a special feature on Killer Instinct 2. That's what we got on deck. Dash fucking Rendar. Just in time for May the 4th, it's true. Hey, 3D, what is this sorcery? Look at that Snow Trooper, chat. It's amazing. All right, so that is absolutely going to do it for tonight. We ran 30 minutes over. Nice makeup for all the 2-hour streams I've been doing lately. So, schedule tomorrow night. Satisfactory begins. We are starting Satisfactory anew tomorrow night. Monday is May the 4th. We are going to play a Star Wars game or two. Show up on Monday to see what it's going to be. From Tuesday, we're going to be embarking on a journey into the Cube Escape / Rusty Lake games. It will be democratic. Y'all will determine how far we go with those. There are a lot of them. They're very interesting. They're all interconnected. Those of you that are deep lore oriented, I think you'll get a lot out of this. Power Hours will probably return on Thursday. I might take next Thursday to finish off the Virtual Boy once and for all. Put a fucking stake through its heart. Might also happen on Saturday. You'll just have to wait and see for that, because Friday really needs to be Indie Variety Night. I still have so many indie games to go through and feature. Congratulations on being much less on death's door. Thank you. Yes, I'm quite happy about it myself. It's actually feeling pretty fresh today, so yeah. All right, let's go find somebody to raid. Let me send you off to Dama. They're playing Titanium Court. That is a cool ass game. Go hang out with them. See how they're enjoying it. See how it treats you. See if it's something you want to pick up. It's a pretty unique game. Pretty unique, pretty interesting. Anyway, chat, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thank you for joining me for the epic, if speedy, conclusion of March 1996 in Nintendo Power. This was not a good issue. I am perfectly willing to put that up front. This was not a good issue for games or content or anything really. Nintendo Power is going to kind of suffer in 1996 from a lack of immediate bangers. Hopefully they can pick things up. And I mean, taking a look at Shadows of the Empire next month will be good. So, but I'm just rambling now. Thanks again for coming out. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow night for the start of Satisfactory. But until then, as always, you all take care. Bye, everybody.